a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
This is the College Football Playoff Quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Nate DeLuca back here in our All-State studio, counting down to the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential, followed by the nightcap in the All-State Sugar Bowl, number 3 Georgia and number 6 Ole Miss. Let's bring in ESPN college football analyst Matt Stinchcomb on the call for the All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans with Taylor Zarzor and Cole Kublik. And Matt, you look at the way that these games have unfolded over the last couple of years, including the loss for Ohio State last night, game 1 with Texas Tech falling to Oregon. Teams with the bye now 0-6 so far in the CFP. Georgia has to deal with that in the All-State Sugar Bowl. What do you make of the rest versus rust conversation?
Yeah, I think it's almost like these guys are college kids, and they're hard to keep focused for, weeks at a time. This is, it's interesting. There is a cadence, and if there was ever a sport where rhythm and routine is important, I think football has got to be tops among them. And to coordinate all the different components, people, the organization itself, it's disruptive enough whenever you play away from home, but also just the fact that you get out of that rhythm of a regular season, it's a challenge. And, you look at Ohio State, and they were off, 20 plus days, I want to say. That's a lot of time on the shelf. And what's become more and more evident is that these teams that are, I guess in many ways, burdened, at least from the outside looking in, with having to play that first-round game, actually been able to keep their sword sharp. And these other teams that have been on the shelf are having a hard time, getting the motor cranked again. And that's becoming more and more, it's more than a trend. At this point, it's instructive history. We'll see if that changes today.
Yeah, it was 25 days off for Ohio State. Now they've got a lot more time to rest and recover. ESPN college football analyst Matt Stinchcomb on the call for the All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Georgia and Ole Miss, the Bulldogs in the conversation of the greater CFP. Matt, there was so much talk about, obviously, Indiana as the number 1 overall team in the country, and then Ohio State, who had been number 1 for most of the year. Do you feel like Georgia is being slept on a little bit?
Well, I think that from a ranking standpoint, it probably couldn't have done better for Georgia in that, the way the playoff lays out as a number 3 seed, they actually probably had an advantage of getting a head start preparation-wise. I don't think many felt that Tulane had a viable chance versus Ole Miss in round 1. And so if they were slept on, from a committee perspective or even nationally, it was probably to their advantage. The 3 and 4 seeds actually got a better setup than the 1 and 2 seeds from a preparation standpoint. And I don't know that, given the recent successes that program has enjoyed, that somehow they're being overlooked. Now, are they underappreciated? Possibly. But I'm confident in saying they don't care. And in fact, in a lot of ways, it probably plays into Kirby Smart and his motivational tactics perfectly. So,
hey, what's up, Fod now?
I do think that they've got plenty of attention.
How you doing, bro?
Nationally. It's a prominent program, a successful program. But, maybe coming in as 3, given the way that the season unfolded and the way that the Big Ten was perceived throughout the season, the SEC, at least the highest.
Do you have a good New Year, bro?
Anyway, is somewhat overlooked.
Yeah, a little bit of the good rat poison can never hurt. Veteran QBs in this one tonight, Gunnar Stockton and Trinidad Chambliss. Matt, how important is the experience at that position in this setting?
There's no substitute for experience.
It starts here in a little bit. They take their time with it.
The most important elements.
It says 1 o'clock, but it's more like 1:15, 1:20.
You can actually control. Experience is something that you can't. It just has to happen. Gunnar Stockton obviously has that, has more of it at this level, has it even, in this venue, in this game, from a season ago. Albeit an abbreviated time last year as a starter at the FBS level. And Trinidad Chambliss, who's played a lot of football, but just not up here, and certainly not on a stage at these stakes there might be an element in there. Obviously, Chambliss needs to
What's
play
up,
better. He
BB?
needs to play better late in the game than he did last
Yeah, I
time
think
out,
Alabama
with
can put up a
Houston
fight,
at
bro.
Georgia. That was really the
You
difference.
got two
Was
top
the
10
fourth
picks
quarter,
going at it,
couple of,
Mendoza and Simpson.
off-target throws that otherwise
The Simper and the
Chambliss played,
Dozer.
really remarkably, but just a couple incompletions that came in handy. And in that game, it was a hold-serve kind of a game. Every time you got the ball, you had to score. They didn't.
Guys, go check out my buddy Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Best highlights on YouTube. That's
So I
Berry,
do think that there's an element where
Berri.
experience is an advantage. I just don't know if there's enough of it for one side versus the other where it's that material.
Matt, you mentioned the first matchup between these two teams, and so much obviously is different now in round two, starting with no Lane Kiffin and Pete Golding taking over in a change at head coach. This is Pete's first real test. Obviously, you get the win over Tulane last week, but now he's playing a conference opponent. This is a team that's been the class of college football over the last number of years. What has your attention? What's the key tonight for Pete Golding and Ole Miss to hang in and potentially pull off the upset?
Well, I do think that when you get into a we're going to call it a rock fight, you get into some back alley type brawl, that is Georgia's football game. They are more than comfortable in that way, in that setting. In fact, I think they seek to kind of cultivate that environment because it feels as if that's an advantage for them. I feel certain that they are more than happy to try to race out to a lead.
What's up, guys?
But it's
Hope you
not
had a great New
necessarily,
Year's.
Something they have to do. I do think for Ole Miss, if they can start as fast as possible, and by that I mean from a scoring standpoint, then that's going to be, I think, a pivotal element in this football game. What Georgia has shown more than anything else is that they can actually endure slower starts. They didn't really have one versus Ole Miss in the first time out, though, and I think that's an important distinction. This is a team that can score, and because of that, I don't know that you can afford to, kind of ease out of the gate, if you will, from Georgia's perspective. So that is an advantage that I'm sure Ole Miss would like to create. They just weren't capable of seizing on the first go-round. So to me, more than anything else, just the tempo of the game, not the play calling or how fast you're running your offense, but from a scoring pressure standpoint. I think that's far more important from Ole Miss's prospects than it is for Georgia's.
ESPN college football analyst Matt Stinchcomb on the call for the All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans with Taylor Zarzor and Cole Kublik. Round two between number 3 Georgia and number 6 Ole Miss. Ole Miss trying to make it like the first meeting with Georgia never even happened. Like it never even happened. Brought to you by ServPro, the number one choice in cleanup and restoration. Let's pause now 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
KNBR and KNBR FM, your home of 49ers football.
One of college football's most storied programs taking on the nation's newest powerhouse. Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson, number 1 Indiana and number 9 Alabama. All set in Pasadena with a trip to the CFP semis on the line. Our team at the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential. Mark Kestisher, Kelly Stauffer, and Ian Fitzsimmons. Kesty?
Nick DeLuca,
About
thank
to
you
get
very
underway.
much, and we welcome everybody to Southern California.
The Dozer
and
versus the
Pasadena.
Simper.
And if we told you it had been raining for more than 24 consecutive hours, with rain in the forecast literally for the next 5 days, you would think we would have sloppy conditions here at the Rose Bowl, but the rain abated a couple of hours ago. They have been working on the field. We'll have more on that from Ian Fitzsimmons in just a little bit. But Kelly Stauffer, talk about the New World Order of college football, the number 1 team in the country. We ran into some Indiana fans. The Hoosiers are the number 1 team, and they're getting set to play an Alabama team that's a touchdown underdog coming off their first-round win against Oklahoma.
And first of all, what an incredible blessing for us to be here at the Rose Bowl once again. But, Kessie, you're exactly right. I think Indiana, on one hand, they lament the people nationally not believing in who they are as a program, but we've run into Indiana people that don't believe where they are as a program being at the Rose Bowl today. But welcome to the new era of the NIL and the transfer portal. Welcome Kurt Signetti to to Bloomington that completely flipped the roster and flipped this program opposite direction for where they've been for decades.
They've done an uncanny job, Kurt Cignetti and his staff, of bringing in players that have hit, and it starts with Fernando Mendoza, who comes over from Cal, and all he does is win the Heisman Trophy a couple of weeks ago. Mendoza, the redshirt junior quarterback from Miami, and Ty Simpson, the Alabama quarterback, in his first year as a starter, our matchup of QBs in this Rose Bowl.
And you don't win games like this without significant contributions from the quarterback one position. And Fernando Mendoza has been incredibly impressive on tape as we've been getting up to date for this game. And he's done everything that you would ask of him. He plays in an offense that literally is tailored around his skill set. But to me, it's his toughness and his composure in critical moments that stands out to me. And Ty Simpson, he's been in the program at Alabama for 4 years, but this is his first year starting. We can't forget that. This offense has been really squarely on his back. He's going to have to perform well today and allow his defense to give him short fields at time. I think this is going to be a rock fight, and I think it goes down to the wire.
Well, Indiana has just taken the field here at the Rose Bowl, and Alabama coming out of their tunnel right now. And the big question, Ian Fitzsimmons, as we were arriving in the tarp that had been on the field for over a day, is what would the on-field conditions be like? You've been testing that field. What are we looking at?
The middle of the field, Mark, looks solid as can be. But Kalen DeBoer told me, head coach of Alabama, if it's footworthy outside the numbers, that is the number one question for Alabama and, by the way, Indiana, as they run a lot of digs, a lot of outs. And outside the numbers, as I walk the field, Kelly, you being a quarterback, it is saturated. So in the middle of the field is outstanding. Outside the numbers is saturated and nasty. When it comes to digs, outs, good luck being a wide receiver trying to keep your footing, or being a corner trying to cover a wideout. Kelly, how much would that impact what you decide to do when it comes to throwing the football, especially on like a 3rd and 3?
I think the impact is significant. There isn't any question. And you're right, out-breaking routes, that change of direction is going to be an adventure going outside. And going inside, it's change of direction as well. The middle of the field is really good, and so you have to tighten splits at times if you want to go to the middle. This is the key. I think we see a lot more in the vertical pass game than maybe either of these teams do on a day where you have really good field conditions.
All right, here's what we know, Kelly. The winner of this game will face Oregon in the Peach Bowl next Friday. So let's get your game plan for Alabama and Indiana. Brought to you by LinkedIn. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Jobs. New AI assistant. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/CFB. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, Kesty, the way I see this game is Indiana really has become the Alabama of the Nick Saban era. They win games that same way. They run it. They don't allow you to run it. They don't make mistakes. They're really, really good on 3rd down, and they make critical decisions positively in the red zone. So I think Alabama has to prove that Indiana is not going to be the toughest team, the most physical team in this game. And then Alabama has to protect Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson is surgical when he has a clean pocket. He gets flustered and gets into trouble when he has people around his feet. So we'll see how pass protection is today for Alabama.
Alabama has won the toss. They're going to defer to the second half, so Indiana will receive, and we will see the Heisman winner, Fernando Mendoza, and the Hoosiers first on offense. On the defensive side, critical to watch for both schools, but definitely for Indiana at the defensive end position, where they were already down a starter. Stephen Daly took over that position and was playing great at that defensive end spot. But Daly, while they were celebrating the Big Ten championship in their last game, injured the knee. He is done apparently for the season, and they're going to have to maneuver some parts on that defensive line for Indy.
Yeah, and very disappointing, first of all, for Stephen Daly. He's been one of those guys that's been a kind of a built-in pressure guy up front for that defensive front for Indiana. And remember, he was playing significant snaps because they already lost Kellen Wyatt. also at that same position. So there's going to be some reshuffling. But on the other side, it's significant as well. LT Overton for Alabama is back. He's healthy, and he's essentially a mirror image of Daly on the other side. And then Tim Keenan was banged up early in the year. He's that kind of that fire plug right over the center that has to hold that line because Indiana wants to run right down Broadway in that physical run game that is Kurt Signetti through and through.
What a scene we have. It's still overcast here, but the green is gorgeous. Green grass as you could get. And kicking it off is Alabama from left to right. It is a line drive out the back of the end zone. Roman Himby will watch that go out the back for a touchback. A lot of crimson here, folks. Alabama crimson and white. Indiana is cream and crimson. So it's just a big sea of red right now. Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner, transfer from Cal. Roman Himby is their starting running back, and Kelly, they have some firepower with Elijah Surratt at wide receiver, Omar Cooper, who's back to help, and Charlie Becker is a deep threat. We're just underway from the Rose Bowl. First down and 10, Indiana from the 25-yard line. It'll be a pass play, good protection. Now running to the right and getting grabbed and dragged down to the 23-yard line is Fernando Mendoza. Deontay Lawson, the linebacker for Alabama, with the stop after a loss of one.
So, Mark, setting up this matchup, Indiana offensively, they're a downhill running team. 67% of their run game happens inside the tackle box, and that's the physical mentality that they want to infuse into this game early, and Alabama defensively going to have to stand up to that.
Second down and 12, shotgun snap. Himby gets the run, finds a little hole on the right side, gets over the 30-yard line. It'll mark him down at the 31-yard line. Justin Jefferson, the tackle, getting 8 yards back. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Indiana, because of that downhill run game, they protect that run with the RPO. So you might see more man-to-man coverage out of Alabama coverage-wise, but Indiana is elite on 3rd down because they're typically in 3rd and manageable like they are right here.
Their average is 3rd and 5.4. This is 3rd down and 4 for the Hoosiers. Right hash mark, 31-yard line. 2 receivers to the wide side of the field, 1 to the right. Blitz coming from the edge. Under pressure, Mendoza wrapped up, and he's going to be taken down beyond the 20-yard line by Bray Hubbard, who came on the safety blitz.
And Bray Hubbard is a free safety, and that's insight into where Kane Womack is coming from early in this game. It was a zero blitz look. Alabama will buzz out of that right before the snap and go into a zone coverage a lot. They did not. It was man-to-man across the board, and Hubbard was getting after the Heisman Trophy winner, Mendoza, early in this one.
Alabama peeling their ears back defensively early. Mitch McCarthy, the punter, is on the punt. He's standing at the 5-yard line. Cole Adams waiting at the 40-yard line to our right. There's the long snap. Very little pressure. Punt is away, and it's a hits at the turf at the 42-yard line and trickles out of bounds. And they'll mark him out at about the 40-yard line. The line's been moving up to the 41-yard line. And it will be a 3-and-out for Indiana, 39-yard punt, and no return. And now Ty Simpson and Alabama enter the field for the first time on offense. Kelly, it is a decided advantage to have played in the first round, right? We've seen none of the bye teams have won.
Yeah, I think that's vital. You're exactly right. And it's that momentum from that Oklahoma game. Alabama wasn't supposed to be in the college football playoff, according to a lot of people nationally, and they were down 7.
Hey, what's up, Holland? Happy New Year's, Damien. Appreciate that, buddy. Hope you had a good New Year's as well, bro.
They're going to send Jeremy Bernard, receiver, in motion to the right. Simpson, a pass on first down, plenty of time, can't find anybody open, rolls back, throws off his back foot, and gets rid of it out of bounds. Good coverage downfield, and Mario Landino, as you pointed out, moving over to that defensive end spot, getting some good pressure.
Yeah, and I think this defense for Indiana has been overshadowed greatly because you have the Heisman Trophy winner and an offense that's scoring 42 points a game on the other side.
Hell yeah, God bless you, bro.
Look at how defenses are built. This Indiana defense is really elite in almost every statistical category.
Second down and 10 from the 41 for Alabama. They got the white uniforms on. There's a snap and a pass out to the near left side. It is caught Ryan Williams and dragged down at the 45-yard line. Williams has not been targeted a lot. Second half of the season, he gets 4 yards.
Because, I think Ryan Williams is an X factor remember last year, he was one of the top receivers as an All-American freshman, has had a down year, had kind of drop-itis, and so if he wakes up today, that could be a huge weapon for Ty Simpson.
3rd down and 6. Alabama broke their huddle early. Now they're ready to go, and there's the shotgun snap. Pass over the middle. It is caught by Hill. He reaches forward. They're going to give him the line to gain, the +49. 1st down, Aiden Fisher the tackle, but a 6-yard gain and a first.
Great early decision by Ty Simpson. It's an angle route as the running back, Daniel Hill, comes back inside, and I think that's what Ty Simpson is going to have to do today. He's going to have to be patient. There's a ton of zone coverage on the back end for Indiana.
11:55 to go. 1st quarter, no score at the Rose Bowl. Alabama over the 50-yard line at the 49. Play fake, loading up. Nobody downfield. Quarterback scrambling. Simpson sights a wide open tight end, and Cuevas has it right on the right sideline. And he is out of bounds at the 44-yard line where Elijah Hardy got the tackle. And a gain of 6.
And Ty Simpson is a great mover and manipulator of the pocket. Not necessarily a dual threat guy much anymore. He was the 2nd-ranked dual threat guy coming out in 2022, but he's not really that guy anymore. But a lot of the explosive plays for Alabama offensively come when Ty Simpson is moving around in the pocket.
Ty Simpson going under center here on 2nd down and 4. 3 receivers tight to the left side. Hill is the deep back. They'll send a receiver in motion. Give to Hill. Has a nice crease. Jumps over the 40-yard line and is taken down at the 37-yard line of Indiana by Amari Farrell. But that's a gain of 7.
Ryan Grubb is the offensive play caller as we actually see Alabama hurrying to the line of scrimmage, and I think that's going to be an element today, a change of pace by Ryan Grubb offensively for Alabama.
Yeah, seen a lot of different formations. Now they're going to work out of the pistol on 1st down and 10 at the Hoosier 37-yard line. 2 receivers right, Jeremy Bernard to the left. Hill is the tailback. Clap the hand, snap, give to Hill, cuts back over the middle, stacked up and dropped right at the line of scrimmage, the 38-yard line by Hardy, no gain.
And the play before, we saw what they call a sugar huddle by Alabama. They huddle close to the line of scrimmage, break quickly, somewhat like they did right here. So that change of pace early by Alabama is certainly part of the game plan.
2nd down and 10. Now Hill offset to the left side near Ty Simpson. Clap of the hands, no snap yet. All the Crimson Tide players looking over their right shoulder to the far sideline. Now they change formation a bit. Receivers tight to the left side. 2nd and 10. Snap. Sampson, short drop pressure, throws wide. It is caught by Hill. He is grabbed and dragged down for a loss. Back at the 41-yard line, Devin Boykin, the rover back that time. Hardy got the pressure, a loss of 4.
And there was quick pressure, and actually Ty Simpson started his progression on the right side and then came back to Daniel Hill, and he had the tight end Cuevas out blocking for him. It's one of those behind the line of scrimmage throws so the tight end could be engaged, but Cuevas did not get a very good block out on the left edge.
You can hear Indiana fans trying to get loud. This is where the Hoosiers defense has dominated college football on 3rd down. 3rd and 14 here for Alabama from the +41. Snap, Simpson, pressure coming by Hardy, rolls out to his left, running near the sideline, throws off the back foot into coverage, and is nearly intercepted, broken up. Good job by Ryan Williams, the wide receiver that time, to knock it away from the safety, Lewis Moore.
There was pressure by the linebacker Elijah Hardy initially.
What's up, Rob? No problem, bro.
Alabama.
Love throwing the game on there
Hardy took
for
a
people
bad
to
angle
listen
on the
to.
quarterback because he was a free runner and should have had Ty Simpson to the ground, and he attacked the upfield shoulder instead of the back shoulder, so it allowed Simpson to whirl out to his left and get that ball off, and you're right, it should have been picked off.
Blake Dowd is on the punt. He's back beyond the 50, receives the punt, will kick it on the nose of the ball, high end over end. Jonathan Brady signaled fair catch, now lets it bounce, and the special teams of Alabama down it inside the 5. They're going to give him the 3-yard line there. Really nice punt by Blake Dowd and Lazier Brooks on special teams downing it for Alabama. 38-yard punt, no return, and our first break at the Rose Bowl. Alabama and Indiana, no score with 8:52 to go first quarter. You're listening to the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Come Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
LinkedIn gets B2B marketing and knows that every win is derived from a well-orchestrated play. With LinkedIn ads, every ad gets served to the MVPs you need. LinkedIn has grown to a network of over 1 billion professionals that you can reach based on job title, industry, and more. Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/campaign. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. Only on LinkedIn ads.
Next summer, the world's biggest tournament comes to America. But long before first kick, the real work happens at home, where families are gearing up for game day. From the locker room to the laundry room, Henkel's trusted brands are fueling performance, strengthening bonds, and celebrating every clean sheet, every bold style, every repaired cleat, and every unstoppable moment. Because the game may be played on the field, but it's won in the everyday. Winning starts at home with Henkel's family of brands, including Persil laundry detergent, Got2b hair care products, Dial soap, and Loctite adhesives. Proud partners of U.S. Soccer.
A devzone.org.
KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
This is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The 112th Rose Bowl from Pasadena. Mark Estisher, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons, our entire ESPN radio crew, wherever you may be listening. Thanks for joining us. Still the All-State Sugar Bowl to come later tonight. Ole Miss and Georgia. Oregon already a winner over Texas Tech, Kelly. And so those Ducks, who've won 8 straight since losing at home to Indiana, waiting to see who they're going to face in the semifinals.
You know, if you think about this game, these teams collectively might have the 3 best wins in college football this year. Alabama goes on the road and beats Georgia in Athens, and then you have Indiana, who beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, and you talked about it. They go on the road to beat Oregon at home. That's incredible.
A perfect stretch so far for Indiana, 13-0, went 9-0 in the Big Ten, beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game in a 3-point finale, and their second drive start's going to start at their own 3-yard line. Mendoza in the end zone will hand it off. Kalon Black gets the call, and he'll get to the 5-yard line that time. Black, their number 2 running back, one of a number of players who came with Coach Cignetti from James Madison.
Yeah, and it's that running back room that really defines whose your team is offensively. Obviously, you have Fernando Mendoza, that's the Heisman Trophy winner, of course, but it's that running back room that has that downhill, in the box run mentality that Kurt Cignetti is known for.
After the 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8, Staff Black with a burst out of a cannon, got up to the 10-yard line, stopped there. It'll give him just over the 10.
Yeah, I know. This is a video game. I can't control it. It's a simulation.
Short of the first, it'll be 3rd down.
It's a baseball score right now.
Quintessential methodical.
The Braves are playing the Indians.
They want to own the time of possession. They want to run the football in the tackle box almost 70% of the time, like we've talked about. And they have Fernando Mendoza that makes consistently the best decisions for his team in the run-pass option game.
And a 3rd and 2 here from their own 10-yard line. Motion in front of him. There's a snap. They can move the pocket to the right. Now throwing off the back heel. Hits Surratt complete over the right hash to the 18-yard line. Xavier Brown took him down, but that'll move the chains after 7 yards.
And Elijah Surratt is that guy. He's the 3rd down chain mover. A lot of times it's the back shoulder throw, which Mendoza and Surratt together are elite in that area of the game, but he's a big body. We were down on the field before the game. He's a thick guy. He's faster than you give him credit for, but he's essentially a power forward that posts up and snatches the football out of the air.
First down, screen pass, caught by Surratt on the left hash, and he's able to follow a block up over the 25-yard line to the 26. Great hands for Elijah Surratt.
Oh, you're good,
as well.
bro.
We're hearing from the coaches, incredibly cerebral.
I wish I could control it
And I think that's probably
for the
his best
video
asset
game to play the
because
exact same
his
plays as the
football
real
IQ.
life
He
game.
reads coverages, and he is able to find the voids in zones, but before long, we're going to see the back shoulder throw. And Alabama has big corners. They're 6'4" and 6 foot tall and thick at the corner position. They're going to have to defend that well.
Second down and 1 here. Roman Hemby in the backfield. It's going to be another screen pass around on the opposite side, and he is ankle tackled. Reach forward for the 27. We'll see where they mark it. Had to get it to the 28. No gain. It's going to be short. Third and short coming up. Let's go downstairs to Ian Fitzsimmons.
One of the more impressive things about Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback for Indiana, guys, is that they don't ask him to put up a bunch of numbers. And Kelly, this is, to me, the most impressive thing about him. He doesn't care about stats. All they ask him to do is make a play and win a game. That's it. And a lot of people had a problem with him winning the Heisman Trophy because of numbers. It's not about numbers. Here in Indiana, it's all about wins.
Third and 1. Give to Hemby, who followed a fullback block up the right side and gets the first down. Power move, a 2-yard run up to the 29-yard line.
And the point that Ian Fitzsimmons just made is a really, really good one. Fitzy, 69, basically 70% of Fernando Mendoza's passes are 10 yards or less. He's not going to bomb away in a football game until he has the great matchup, but he's an orchestrator of this offense.
First down, Hemby trying the left side. Nothing there. Might have got a yard up to the 30-yard line. This Indiana team, Kelly, when they run, our sports and information people telling us the left side's been their best. They get about 7 yards per rush, almost 6 up the middle, a little under 5 to the right. Good job so far by Alabama's run game.
Yeah, and that's a good point about, I think the left side is really consistent in the run game. The right side has been leaky at times, but the middle with Pat Coogan from Notre Dame, he's really is what's made this line of scrimmage different from last year to this year at Indiana.
Second and 9, play fake. Mendoza drops back. Looking down the right sideline, throws, and it is caught out at the 41-yard line. No, it's incomplete. The linesman's going to rule that Charlie Becker forced out. Now, hang on. One official says it is complete, so overruled. Charlie Becker comes up with the reception. Just got that left foot down.
Charlie Becker is matched up in one-on-one situation with Xavier Brown, who is an elite cover guy, and I think you're exactly right. It was possession of the football, left foot tap, complete pass, and that first big play, explosive play out of this Indiana offense.
30-yard completion to Charlie Becker, the sophomore from Nashville. Pistol snap, Mendoza gives, Black up the middle, finds an extra seam and darts ahead to the 36-yard line for Indiana. Yanze Pierre, the stop for Bama, the 5 more yards for the Hoosiers.
And going back to that point that Fitzy made about, whether Mendoza should have won the Heisman or not, I give you one drive, the game-winning drive against Penn State, and all the things that Mendoza had to do on that drive. That was a Heisman drive. If you could put it in a dictionary under Heisman drive, that would be the quintessential opportunity or look at the Heisman winner. But it's the throw that he just made to Charlie Becker. He doesn't do it often, but when he does, he's precision-like.
4 minutes to go, first quarter scoreless from the Alabama 35. First down give. Kalen Black on second down, powers forward over the 30-yard line for 6 more yards. And this outstanding Joe Moore Award finalist, Indiana offensive line looking strong right now.
It's always about the line of scrimmage in a football game, offensively and defensively. Remember how this drive really started to get underway. It was converting on third and manageable to begin with. And now they're 10 plays into it, and we're really seeing what Indiana is about offensively right now.
Drive started at their own 3. They're at the Bama 29-yard line, going left to right. High snap, Mendoza, quick pass, caught by E.J. Williams at the 25. Tries to spin out of a tackle, grabbed and wrestled down near the 20-yard line. Williams taken down by Xavier Brown after a gain of 9.
Yeah, and we're seeing what the issue is in terms of trying to figure out a way to defend Fernando Mendoza and all these weapons in that Joe Moore offensive line you talked about. They have that physical run game. and that's never going very far away from what they want to do, but they protect it with a very efficient run-pass option game. So it forces the defense to go more man-to-man to cover that part of it, and Mendoza is surgical in that aspect of the game.
2nd and 1, they need the 20-yard line. Give to Black. He's got the first. Stays on his feet. Held up now at the 16. Now Indiana's line is pushing him over the 15-yard line. And they'll give him the 14, maybe the 13, and you hear the big Indiana faithful made their way from all parts of the state of Indiana cheering on that 8-yard run.
Currently, this drive is quintessential Indiana Curt Cignetti offense. He loves Kalen DeBoer's offense. He studies Kalen DeBoer's stuff. But right now, they're 12 plays in, 84 yards. It started at the -3, and their quarterback is perfect, 5 for 5 on this drive.
Under 2 minutes to go, first quarter, no score, but in the red zone, the Hoosiers. At the 13, snap Mendoza, give to Hindi, swallowed up. Got made
What's up, Dub?
to the 12-yard line, and he'll get
How you doing, bro?
by Edric Hill, the defensive tackle for Alabama.
And Kessie, we haven't seen this yet, but we talked about it. Elijah Surratt in the back shoulder throw game, in the red zone in particular, is absolutely lethal. I would expect formationally they get Surratt in a one-on-one situation outside, big body, physical guy, and see how Alabama responds to that. He's going wide left right now.
They have Indiana 47 touchdowns in their red zone appearances so far this season. 2nd down and 9, and now a timeout is going to be called by Indiana. With 1:07 to go here in the first quarter, the Hoosiers in the red zone in a scoreless Rose Bowl. Alabama, Indiana, no score first quarter. This is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on October 2nd, 1993, when the University of California faced a 30-0 halftime deficit to Oregon. Cal went on a remarkable 42-11 run in the second half to capture a 42-41 victory. One of the largest comebacks in college football history.
ServPro. Like it never even happened.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster.
Appreciate the likes, guys. Hope you had a great Happy New Year.
Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check Kirk Herbstreit's pregame analysis first, before talking to your brother-in-law.
In this game, the key thing to watch will be the offensive line versus the front seven. If they can get pressure without blitzing, this could be a long night.
Okay, Kirk.
I know stuff.
Ooh, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate. Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Listening to the College Football Playoff Quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
From Pasadena, with 1:07 to go first quarter, Indiana, Alabama, no score, but the Hoosiers 85 yards gained already, starting a drive at their own 3-yard line. And they'll have a second down from the Alabama 13 as we come back from this break. Marquez Tischer, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons with you. Indiana is the number 1 team in the college football playoff. And Kelly, this is the first time in program history that they're number 1 coming into this. They've been playing football since the 19th century. They had the most losses in all of college football when Curt Cignetti was hired as head coach the year before last. Now they're second most losses because they don't lose anymore. He's got a record of 24-2 and 2 Big Ten Coach of the Year awards in his 2 seasons, and now they're sitting on the doorstep here on this second series of the game.
And I think so many people nationally might be getting a glimpse or hearing us for the first time talk about Indiana. And it's not your granddaddy's Indiana, even though we're at the granddad of
It's not your brother's Indiana.
Yeah, no question. They are elite, really, in every aspect of the game currently. That's why they're the number one team in the country.
2nd and 9. It's a screen pass middle, caught by the tight end, Nowakowski, and hit immediately at the line of scrimmage by Tim Kanan. Riley Nowakowski, the 6th-year tight end, gets nothing.
Well, Ian was telling us at the break that Kurt Cignetti, the head coach for Indiana, had warned the official that if I get a certain look defensively out of Alabama, I'm going to call a timeout. He obviously got that look. I'm not exactly sure what he saw, but they were bringing Elijah Surratt in short motion from the left side into a stacked position. I thought they actually had an advantage in a one-on-one situation out there, but Indiana called the timeout nonetheless.
3rd and 9, play clock hits 5. Fernando Mendoza ready to go in the gun. Takes the snap, give to Hemby, swallowed up as he twists and turns, and only gets to the 14-yard line, well short of the first. And it'll be 4th down with 19 seconds to go here in this first quarter.
That was a run into the mouth of a zero blitz, and it didn't work very well. And the hope was you could wash that zero blitz down a little bit, and you could pop the running back through. It's the second time we've seen Kane Womack show that zero blitz, and he brought them all 2 times in a row. Sometimes they will buzz out of that. So far, they have not done that.
Niko Radicic is on to attempt an attempt a field goal. Warming up for a 31-yarder. We've got Alabama coaches heading onto the field here. Did someone call a timeout? Clock stopped. Now they restart. There's 2 seconds left. We're told they had the
Number
wrong
72 had his helmet off. He cannot come back in for another play.
I did see a helmet pop off. That was Adi Ajani, the left guard for Indiana.
And why does that matter? One of your offensive linemen that protects in a situation like this in the field goal attempt has to come out. Sometimes the backup can get a little leaky in this situation.
Well, we were getting ready to kick this field goal, and then they start the clock, and the final 2 seconds tick off, so we're going to walk to the other end of the field, and Niko Radicic will try that 31-yarder for Indiana. But we are through 1 quarter in Pasadena, Indiana and Alabama, no score. This is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Rich Eisen here. Hiring for your small business can feel like a full-time job, but LinkedIn Jobs AI Assistant takes the heavy lifting out of it. It filters applicants based on the criteria you set and suggests 25 great fit candidates daily so you can invite them to apply and keep things moving. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen. Then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Talk about stepping up. It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
All right, Mom and Dad, that's enough screen time for today.
I literally just saved us more money by finding 2 subscriptions we forgot about with Navy Federal Credit Union's mobile app.
Yeah, and I just protected our credit from cringe fraudsters with their security tech.
Don't you want to spend some time on social media?
Will social media help us manifest your college tuition?
Get the best banking ever with one of America's top-rated digital banking experiences, Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Visit NavyFederal.org for more information.
This is is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
No score between Indiana and Alabama as we get set for the start of the second quarter. Mark Kestisher, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons at the Rose Bowl, presented by Prudential, the 112th Rose Bowl. And we're getting set for a 31-yard field goal attempt by Indiana. The clock management, I think just from the fact that the clock seemed to stop, clock operator for whatever reason, kind of fouled things up. And also not sure if Fernando Mendoza, if he could hear his coaches talking to him. They were checking out the communications in his helmet during that break as well. Niko Radicic is on. This is a 31-yard attempt from the right hash. Placement's down, kick is up, and it is perfect. And Niko Radicic has given Indiana the early lead, 3-0 over Alabama. We go right back to break. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks of these two teams coming up next. 3-0 Hoosiers over the Crimson Tide. You're listening to the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
LinkedIn gets B2B marketing and knows that every win is derived from a well-orchestrated play. With LinkedIn ads, every ad gets served to the MVPs you need. LinkedIn has grown
what's
to a
up,
network
Yeti?
of over 1 billion professionals that you can reach based on job
Appreciate
titles,
that, bro.
industry, and more. Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/campaign. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. Only on LinkedIn ads.
Next summer, the world's biggest tournament comes to America. But long before first kick, the real work happens at home, where families are gearing up for game day. From the locker room to the laundry room, Henkel's trusted
Mahomes might
brands
even be
are
out for
fueling performance,
2026.
strengthening bonds, and celebrating every clean sheet, every bold style, every repaired cleat, and every unstoppable moment. Because the game may be played on the field, but it's won in the everyday. Winning starts at home with Henkel's family of brands, including Persil laundry detergent, Got2b hair care products, Dial soap, and Loctite adhesives. Proud partners of U.S. Soccer.
A devzone.org.
You're listening to the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
3-0 Indiana leading Alabama. Just 3 seconds into the second quarter. Mark Kestisher, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons with you from the Rose Bowl. Kelly, a 16-play, 84-yard drive ends up in just 3 because of the communication issues with the helmet of Fernando Mendoza and his coaches.
Kessie, I think this is exactly what happened. As a quarterback, you have the green dot, so you have communication up to a certain point on the play clock by your offensive play caller. We could see Fernando Mendoza kind of twirling his index finger in a circle, and as a quarterback, that means give me the play again. And he still didn't get it.
Right
He
on.
pounded on his helmet, meaning I'm not hearing anything. In that situation, QB1 has a default call.
Yeah, his dad
and
used to
you
play
could tell
baseball.
that it was an inside zone run because that's who
I
Indiana
want to
is
see him play for the
offensively.
Mets.
The problem is it's in
Bunch
the
of
red
teams.
zone, and Alabama has everybody in the tackle box. They were going zero blitz, and so what actually Mendoza needed to do is audible to a play outside to Elijah Surratt and throw him a jump ball that he's so good at, and instead it ends up at only 3 points. You traveled the ball 16 plays.
Kelly Stauffer's instant analysis brought to you by SoFi. Get your money right. The ensuing Indiana kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback. Alabama will have it at the 25, and downstairs to Ian Fitzsimmons.
To your point in that conversation you guys were just having, Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback for Indiana, is having problems.
What was that, Whitefish? Or I know that's
in
Texas.
his ear. He
I
is
forget the
hearing
town
buzz
that he went to.
and a
That he lived in.
conversation from
Something like
his
Whitefish or
coaches. So
something.
Alabama is also dealing with the same issue. They are working on it right now. The comms from coach to player, not exactly tip-top right now.
Ty Simpson going under center here is first down and 10 from the 25, and it is a run play out to the left side and stacked up. Losing a yard is Kevin Riley, who's coming back from a broken jaw about a month and a half ago. And Ian Fitzsimmons knows very well about, we call it RF in the business. Those are the wireless communications that we use so that Fitzy can talk to us. That's exactly what they're using too. And this building has always been very tough for those kind of communications.
Yeah, when we first started going to that in the NFL, we were at the Meadowlands one time, and people were hearing air traffic control from somewhere. I mean, it's come a long ways, but it's not working that well right now in the Rose Bowl.
Second down and 11. Riley is the deep back. Jeremy Bernard in motion behind the quarterback and now goes back to the right side. Two receivers there. Simpson will hand it off. Riley grabbed by the ankles and dropped at the 26-yard line. Got two, but it's going to bring up 3rd and 9. Hosea Wheeler and Bones Jones. Isaiah Jones on the tackle.
Well, one of the things we wanted to see today is Alabama any more efficient in the run game than they have been all year. And right now they're having issues. Indiana doesn't give a lot of people run. They only give up 78 yards per game in the run game. So Alabama has to find a way.
Okay, it's White House.
Rhythmic screen game.
Okay, I said White Fish. That's close.
3rd and 8. Trips to the right. Offset running back. There's the snap. Simpson's going to run with it. Tucks it. Goes out to the right side. Curling at the numbers 30. Slides down. He had to get the 35. His slide began at the 34. And so he's going to come
I remember him seeing
playing
basketball.
After the gain of 7, Aiden Fisher and Amari Farrell.
He said went D1 in
Fisher
basketball.
was chasing the quarterback for quite some time, and he came
Probably
up
drafted
1
in
yard short.
baseball.
This is a huge play. Those critical decisions in critical moments in a game like this, and it appears that Kalen DeBoer is going to go for it on 4th and 1 from their own minus 35-yard line.
They've been great on 4th down, nearly 65% conversions, but as you point out, from their own 34 and now a timeout, Indiana's going to use their second timeout. They wanted to get a look there. Daniel Hill was in as a quarterback. He's the running back, so it's going to be a direct snap to him. And Kurt
What's up, Kellen?
And a timeout was
How you
called.
doing, bro?
Take it with 12:44 to go. Second quarter, 4th and 1, Alabama trailing Indiana 3-0. This is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The college football
Texas has some good football in general.
Not yet. That
Florida,
epic run,
California,
that wild dream,
those states
not over
dominate.
till the clock hits 0, till the stadium shakes, till the wild things are let loose, till the trophy is lifted and the confetti falls. This is the national championship. When it's over, you'll feel it. This is the wild world of college football. The CFP National
Yeah, I'm afraid if the
Monday,
Chiefs
January
can't protect
19th at
Patrick
7:30 p.m.
Mahomes, he's
Eastern
going to
on
ask for a
ESPN and
trade.
the ESPN app.
Once Travis Kelce retires, Andy Reid retires.
Hey, what are you eating?
If we can't protect him, he continues to get injured, sacked.
Oh, nice. Wait, they
He's
let
our
you eat like
leading
that in the
rusher,
pros?
bro.
Oh, they insist on it. A pro's work starts on the plate.
Oh, man, that does look good. Let me have a taste.
Get your own.
All right. Where do I find this? Is it factormeals.com?
Yep, and they've got a deal going on.
Oh, love a deal. I am so in.
Smart move. Pro move.
All right. Factor. Eat like a pro.
At Wrangler, we know the essential question for any guy is, can I go like this? It could be date night, boys' night, work, or your nephew's school play. It could be anything. And the last thing you want to do is change. That's why Wrangler makes jeans, shirts, jackets, and tees that answer yes to life's essential question. You can go in Wrangler. Check out our latest styles today at Wrangler.com. Wrangler for the ride of life.
This is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
One of the great sights in college football. We had rain for over 24 hours. Rain went away a couple hours before kickoff. Cloud layers low, but we could still see maybe 1,000 feet or so the base of the San Gabriels off to our left. Kelly Stouffer, Mark Kestisher, Ian Fitzsimmons. The Rose Bowl game right now, Indiana 3, Alabama nothing. 12:44 to go second quarter. That's the second timeout used by Indiana and their head coach Kurt Cignetti. That's because Daniel Hill, the running back, was lining up to take the snap. But did he do Kalen DeBoer a favor? You didn't like that play call.
No, I really didn't. Daniel Hill was going to be in the Wildcat taking the direct snap. Ty Simpson was the second-ranked dual-threat quarterback in the 2022 recruiting class. Why don't you just keep your quarterback in there and have that run-pass threat, which you do not have when Daniel Hill takes the direct snap himself?
Well, I'm not sure if they were truly going to snap it or not. We'll never know. But the punting unit is now on for Alabama. Blake Dowd is on the 20-yard line to our left. Jonathan Brady.
Simpson looks like shit.
Direct snap here, going under center. A member of the special teams, which is Ty Simpson, the quarterback. He's trying to get them to jump offside. Let's see. And now DeBoer is going to take a timeout. So they snuck Simpson out.
Nobody is fooled by that.
He raced over to get under center in front of the punter.
Put Simpson out on special
teams.
teams.
Indiana offside.
Casey, you're a wordsmith, and I would like you to describe the look that we just saw on Kurt Cignetti's face. He looks completely offended with all of the shenanigans that just happened.
These are two head coaches that have immense respect for each other. They both came from very small college football. Both won incredibly well at every level they've been to. And yes, with a game of such magnitude, the chess is fun.
And I liked it, to be perfectly honest with you. And you use the timeout. You don't take the penalty and give up yardage on this, what appears to be potentially a punt, although I think Ty Simpson is back in the game once again. So maybe Kalen DeBoer saying, you know what, you gave me another opportunity to run a play here. Maybe I'll do it.
Oh, we're going to have that Wildcat with Hill. Simpson is wide right. Three receivers there. It's a pop pass. Jeremy Bernard trying to turn the corner. He's grabbed. He's not going to get there. Indiana's defense sniffed it out. They're going to hold him on downs. Bones Jones with the stop for the Hoosiers.
The defense is so good.
Jesse, sometimes as a play caller, in this case Ryan Grubb, I think you can outsmart yourself. You have to go between the tackle box in that situation. You are a very physical offensive line, and there was talk that Alabama, as an offense, thought that they could out-physical Indiana's defensive front. You needed to prove it right there. Instead, you get outside the box, and Indiana defensively is just too disciplined to take the bait in that situation.
They also sacked Dante Moore 6 times when Indiana played Oregon. Moore's only been sacked like 13, 14 times all year.
They're at the Alabama 35-yard line, going from our right to left. Fernando Mendoza waiting in the gun, takes the snap, three receivers left, looking that way, flushed out of the pocket, grabbed the skate. Now rolling, he's going to run it, flag down behind him, 40-yard line out of bounds at the 32-yard line. The white hat official threw what appears to be a holding against Alabama.
Offense number 65, 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's Indiana, correct myself. That's Carter Smith, the left tackle.
And we've talked about this so many times. Initially, Carter Smith has the defensive end locked up. But when your quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, starts to get outside the pocket to your side, that's a tendency that the left tackle, Carter Smith, would have. He thinks his quarterback is still 7 yards behind in the pocket, and little did he know he's trying to get
Shout out to everyone watching. Hope you guys had a great New Year.
By the defensive end, the tendency for the offensive lineman is to grab hold of jersey.
Indiana up 3-0 right now.
Penalty, mark back to the 45-yard
Rip the football.
Hemby escapes up the right side. Stiff arm at the 40, 35, turns on the speed at the 30, and is finally ridden out of bounds. That's a first down to the 23-yard line of Alabama. 21-yard run for Roman Hemby.
And Hemby has been huge for this offense.
Indiana close to the red zone.
And you get a double team inside on the defensive tackle, and then up to the linebacker, and Hemby bounces it outside.
On first down, Hemby again tries to negotiate his way up the middle and is dropped down at the 21-yard line of Bama after a gain of 2. Hemby, 980 18 rushing yards coming into this Rose Bowl.
And he's the physical tone center at 6 foot tall, 210 pounds, but he's the guy that has a little bounce in his step, and he can get outside like he did on the prior play. And we saw Indiana, Kesty, hurry up that time, and that's really not their MO, but they wanted to go fast after that big play by their running back.
Second down and 8 for the Hoosiers. At the Bama 21-yard line. Tight end motions to the right. 2 receivers each way. Snap. Throwing to the left side. It's knocked down. Intended for Becker and Deshaun Jones with a nice job slapping it down to break it up.
You had Surratt going to the corner. And
Third and 8. Let's see what Mendoza's got.
Shoulder throw to number 13, Surratt. And then Becker
Dangerous
runs
on
the
third
boat route.
down.
Just a quick out route or a 10-yard out route by the wide receiver. But very well defended that time by Deshaun Jones.
Fernando Mendoza completed his first 6 passes. That is his first incompletion. 10:55 to go, second quarter, third down and 8 for Indiana. From the 21 of Bama, there's the snap, pressure coming, picked up nicely, tossing end zone for Becker, goes up, grabs it, touchdown.
Got it. The dozer. Wow.
20-yard touchdown pass, Fernando
Dime.
Mendoza to Charlie Becker, and Indiana's got a 9-0 lead.
Deshaun Jones was on the coverage, and the defensive coordinator, Kane Womack, was getting after Fernando Mendoza once again. That really good offensive line, along with the running back, picks up the blitz. Nobody is in the middle of the field. Charlie Becker runs a skinny post route, and then he needed all 6'4" of him to climb the ladder and come down with that throw. Very good diagnosis that time by Fernando Mendoza to throw to the right guy.
Radicic on for the extra point. Placement is down, and the kick is through. Fernando Mendoza with his 34th touchdown pass of the season. Indiana with a 10-0 lead over Alabama, and a timeout from Pasadena with 10:49 to go, second quarter. This is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits.
Yeah, it's a video game, bro.
With Monster,
I couldn't control the simulation. I wish I could.
Your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice cold Monster and
That'd be cool if I could set up the real game to the simulation. That's what they need to do.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the weather first, before wearing face paint to the game.
Bro, your Go Cats is dripping into your nachos.
Oh, and now paint is in my eyes.
Interception! Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate. Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Avatar Fire and Ash has arrived.
I am the fire!
Get your 3D tickets now for the greatest chapter of the biggest saga in history.
Whatever happens, protect this family.
Critics rave it's by far the best Avatar movie.
If your father and I do not return, you go as far and as fast as you can.
Movies don't get any bigger than this. Avatar Fire and Ash, rated PG-13, now playing. Listening to the College Football Playoff Quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Indiana with a 10-0 lead over Alabama. 10:49 to go, second quarter in Pasadena. We're going to pause 10 seconds for station ID. You're listening to the College Football Playoff Quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
KNBR and KNBR FM, your home of 49ers
Cheers football.
Mark Estisher, Kelly Stauffer with you, and Ian Fitzsimmons. That is the 40th touchdown that Fernando Mendoza is responsible for so far this year.
Yeah, and I talked to longtime NFL General Manager Tom Telesco about both of these quarterbacks, Kesty. And when Tom Telesco went off on Mendoza, he said a big, strong quarterback has a lot of high-level quarterback traits, toughness, quick eyes, arm strength, accuracy. One of his best traits, he said, is knowing when to drive the ball, when to layer the ball and use touch, which we saw on the first drive. It led to 3 points. He's got a lot of late game composure and clutch gene. And also, the guy is about to get the ball, Kelly Stauffer. Everything I just said about Mendoza, you can say the same thing about Ty Simpson because you have the scouting report from Telesco. Very similar traits when it comes to the Alabama quarterback.
Kelly's thoughts on that in a moment as Indiana kicks it off. High end over end. It's going to reach the goal line. And it's going to be brought out by Brooks. Lazier Brooks out to the 10-yard line. And he is dropped at the 14-yard line. Brooks made a late decision to bring it out. And he got brought down there. Kelly, your thought on these quarterbacks?
Well, the things that Fitzy was just talking about, I think I would supersede all that with that clutch composure that I see out of him. But the layered throws in particular, Fitzy, we saw on that last drive, we saw like the entire arsenal.
229 in the building. Shout out to you guys.
Ultimately to Charlie Becker, he feathered it in there over a defender and with touch, and his receiver was able to go get it. All really elite stuff.
From the 14, a play fake on first down, rolling to his left, throwing sideline, caught by Ryan Williams, stays in bound at the 18, but he's grabbed and dragged down by the cornerback, Jamari Sharp that time, a gain of 5.
And I know you guys are well aware of this. Alabama trailed Oklahoma by 17 points and came back and obviously won that game. Indiana is not a team that's going to let you back in it. So I think this drive is essential for Alabama early in this one.
A big 4th and 2 touchdown conversion on the road at Oklahoma. Defense came up with a pick 6, and that first round game changed on a dime. Right now down 10-0. Second out, another play fake and a roll to the left side. Squaring up pass. It is caught. Jeremy Bernard first down 30 and ushered out of bounds past the 35 to about the 36-yard line by Aiden Fisher.
And when Fitzy was on Kalen DeBoer's coach's radio show earlier in the week, I remember Kalen DeBoer talking about, well, sometimes you have a slow start. How do you start quicker? And he says it's all about getting the first down conversion. And that was it right there on this drive. So we'll see now where Alabama goes with this one.
18-yard pickup, 1st and 10. Crimson Tide at the 37-yard line. High formation, fake pitch off the snap, pass incomplete. Was trying to throw back toward Jeremy Bernard. It's incomplete. Has there ever been a head coach that is more happy to have Ian Fitzsimmons on the sideline? We listened to that radio show, the coach's show, and he knows in his days at Washington, they didn't lose when Fitzy was out there.
Yeah, he was their good luck charm. So he needs to step up today.
No pressure.
If Alabama's going to have a chance to win this Rose Bowl.
9:25 to go. Rare time this clock has been stopped. We're in the second quarter. 10-0 Indiana. 2nd and 10. Alabama delayed handoff and nowhere to go. The original line of scrimmage, Daniel Hill, Mario Landino took him down, no gain, and down to Fitzy.
Good. Coaches are crazy. So when my brother was coaching for the Detroit Lions, they actually charted it. That was 5-1 with them, and they're going. I was 5-0. They're going to play the New England Patriots. And Matthew Stafford asked my brother, Devin Fitzsimmons, "Hey, is your brother doing this game?" He goes, "Well, some miracles we can't overcome." There you go. And they got killed in New England. There's certain things, guys, I can't overcome.
3rd down and 10, Alabama. Can they overcome this long 3rd down? Simpson, nothing in the pocket, runs forward, grabbed and dropped at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down and 10. Daniel Ndukwe, who's stepping in for the injured Stephen Daly with the tackle there, and it's 4th down.
Zone coverage on the back end for Indiana defensively. They brought pressure on Ty Simpson, and he had an opening, but he was a little late to hit the ripcord. And that's when the edge rushers were able to fold back inside and get Ty Simpson to the ground. There was a lot of running room, Kesty. 2 high safeties and man-to-man underneath.
Blake Dowd, second punt, lifted high in the air, stepping up, and it'll be Jonathan Brady returning from the 30. Out to the 35, grabbed, able to fall forward over the 40-yard line. Nice return by the senior. from Indiana, who hails from Los Angeles, California. The Cal transfer getting the return that time after the punt, and we have a timeout with 8:02 to go in Pasadena, second quarter. Indiana 10, Alabama nothing. This is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Rich Eisen here. LinkedIn Jobs is stepping things up with their new AI assistant so you can feel confident you're finding top talent. Get this. Employees hired through LinkedIn are 30% more likely to stick around for at least a year compared to those hired through the leading competitor. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival and a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
All right, Mom and Dad, that's enough screen time for today.
I literally just saved us more money by finding 2 subscriptions we forgot about with Navy Federal Credit Union's mobile app.
Yeah, and I just protected our cringe fraudsters with their security tech.
Don't you want to spend some time on social media?
Will social media help us manifest your college tuition?
Get the best banking ever with one of America's top-rated digital banking experiences, Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Visit NavyFederal.org for more information.
You're listening to the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Second of 3 CFP quarterfinal games here on ESPN Radio. Ole Miss and Georgia follows us from New Orleans. Oregon already beat Texas Tech today, 23-0. The Ducks will play in the Peach Bowl a week from Friday against the winner of this game. Indiana right now with a 10-0 lead over Alabama. 8:02 to go first half. Mark Kestisher, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons with you. Alabama's been a really good second half team, but it was right before the second half at Oklahoma about a week and a half ago they made their move, and feels like they got to get something here.
Yeah, I think you're right. And the defense may be in charge of jump-starting that. The offense for Alabama has been out of sync. The difference between the Oklahoma comeback or the Alabama comeback against Oklahoma is Indiana doesn't permit that defensively. You know, Brent Venables will get after you, and that's kind of the nature of that kind of boom and bust type of approach defensively. Indiana makes you earn it defensively, so the point is Alabama cannot lose track right now of Indiana and get too far behind in this game.
Indiana's got about a 3.5-minute advantage on time of possession. Both these teams love to possess it. Drive starts in the 43, under some pressure.
Hey, what's up, Jack?
Down goes Mendoza all the way back to the 33-yard line. Yanze Pierre with the sack.
Mendoza just got
Doesn't
sacked.
get to Mendoza is going to have a big play on a deep crossing route against that man-to-man coverage. But we see a little bit of insight to what Kane Womack thinks he needs to do defensively. Alabama is a high percentage
How you doing,
team,
Jeff?
but it's that RPO that kind of makes you bleed slowly.
Indiana, Alabama.
And there's a lot more man-to-man on the back end against that RPO look.
9-yard loss on the third sack. Here's a run by Black up the 35 to the 40 along the right hash, dropped at the 41-yard line.
We better start rolling Tide right now.
7-yard gain and slow to get up here now for Indiana. Kind of holding that right forearm as well, Black, as he lays on the turf down below with 7:11 to go here in the second. They do have depth, but Himby and Black have been the
Hope you had a
workhorses for
great
Indiana
New
so
Year,
far
Jeff.
this year.
And Himby is kind of the table setter, but Black kind of in that same vein, a very physical downhill runner himself.
Got a timeout here, injury timeout. Xavier Mincy got the hit. And with 7:11 to go in the first half, Indiana with a 10-0 lead over Alabama. Mark Kestisher, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons with you from the Rose Bowl. as Kalon Black is being attended to, the fifth-year senior now helped up to his feet. And the good news is not only is he walking on his own, but he's jogging over toward the Indiana sideline. So certainly good news. And he peels off before he even gets to the sideline, gets into the mass of the huddle there. So real good news for Curt Cignetti's club.
Kessie, those last two plays is the difference, really, kind of in a nutshell in this game. Indiana elects to go play action pass and take a shot on the first down, and they get sacked, but they come back with a productive run on second down. Alabama's not able to do that offensively. On first down, Alabama is only getting 1.8 yards a play. So they're kind of running right into the mouth of what Indiana does defensively. That's why it's so hard to come back against an Indiana defense. They just don't give you a lot of explosive plays, so Alabama's defense may have to come up with something to get this Alabama program jump-started here in the Rose Bowl.
To amplify that point, you just go back 3 weeks ago in the Big Ten championship game, and Ohio State was running well and won their first 10-11 games of the season, and they only managed 10 points against this Indiana defense. It is an incredible defense for Indiana. Top 5 in so many categories. They only allow 10 points per game. That's number 2 in the country. They only allow 77 rush yards per game. And you're right, Alabama has struggled in that vein on the offensive side, and you're playing into one of the main strengths. I don't want to say the strength because they're so good, Indiana, in so many different parts of ball.
Indiana, to me, in the teams that we've studied because of the games that we've had, which is really a cross-section of the best teams in the country, Indiana has been the most consistent and the most complementary team that I've laid eyes on. They're really efficient offensively, and defensively, you talked about it. They're elite in almost every statistical category that matters if you're going to play good defense. Indiana does that. So the point is, this Indiana defense isn't going to allow Alabama to get back in a game if they get behind 17 points or more. So that's kind of the tipping point we're at right now, is Alabama's already down by 10.
This game also available on ESPN television. TV was in a break there, so Indiana huddled up. Alabama's defense ready to go. 7:11 to play, second quarter. Hoosiers already with a 10-0 lead over the Crimson Tide. And we'll be facing 3rd and 12, Indiana, from their 41-yard line as we come out of this timeout. Hoosiers break the huddle. Mendoza, the Heisman winner, ready. Takes the snap, throws over the middle, and Nowakowski had it and lost it. It's picked up by Alabama, but the whistles blow. They're going to say it's an incomplete pass. Riley Nowakowski got hit by DeJohn Lee Jr., the freshman cornerback, and that kept it from being a long gain downfield.
And Nowakowski runs out and then runs up the seam, literally right up the hash against that zone coverage. And it's the big hit by DeJohn Lee Jr. just as the big tight end is trying to catch the football and make a football move common to the game, and that's the part of that catch that he could not complete.
Surprised they blew the whistle and didn't let it play out and go to review?
I think so.
Yeah, they did not. The punter is on for Indiana. DeJohn Lee, by the way, another Californian coming home from Carson, California. Punter is on McCarthy, right to left, signaling fair catch, and backing up at the 15-yard line is Cole Adams, and makes the catch, and that's where Alabama will get it after the 44-yard punt downstairs to Ian Fitzsimmons.
I'm on the Alabama sideline, guys. Every coach that I'm looking at right now believe that was a football move. That was not one, but 2 steps and a fumble. Agree or disagree?
I would have to agree with you.
I'm with you.
And those are the 3 components. You have to have clear possession, and then you have to get a body
down.
and
I know.
You have to make a
Not when you were
move
playing,
common
James.
to the game, and in this case, it's just running upfield with it. And I thought he did all of those things.
Yeah, I was surprised when I heard that whistle, and so instead of having it closer to midfield or better, after the punt, they will start Alabama at their own 15-yard line, trailing 10-0. Simpson has the snap, throws, and is caught by Cuevas, the tight end. He's crunched right over the 20-yard line. They'll give him the 22-yard line. D'Angelo Pons with the tackle after.
Yeah, the college football playoff is exactly like March Madness now. It won't be long before these NFL teams are dropping them out of high school.
NIL
money's doing this.
In round 1 against Oklahoma. 2nd down and 2, snap. On the check down, he's got Hill for the first as he turned and fell backwards at the 47-yard line. Hardy knocked him down, 1st and 10, Bama.
And Kessie, we see Ty Simpson going up a little hurry up, a change of pace right here, and getting to the line of scrimmage quickly.
Which is the 28-yard line, beg your pardon. 1st down and 10 from the 28-yard line. Alabama was going quick, and now after the first clap from Simpson, they all get up, look over their left shoulder this time to the Alabama bench, and they're ready to go. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Hill in the backfield from the pistol. Give to Simpson. Gives to Hill. Running. Gets by 1 defender over the 30-yard line and is taken down at the 33-yard line for a gain of 5.
And the people listening have to keep in mind that a change of pace doesn't have to mean hurry up, because the offense can get to the line of scrimmage and spend a lot of time, which Ty Simpson seems to be doing right now.
Still confusing.
Appreciate that, Dick. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can't sub those sub-defensive packages.
2nd and 5. Simpson throws up the seam. It is caught. A big hit. Ryan Williams hung onto the ball. What a catch by Williams. Been off criticized this year. He gets the 46-yard line for 13 yards.
First down,
Williams
Alabama.
is in the slot to the left side of the quarterback, and that ball was already almost by him when he turns his head. He catches the back end of it, and D'Angelo Pons almost peels paint off his ear that time of the helmet, and that was a great catch by Williams.
First down from the 46. They swing it out to Hill in the flat, and he has nearly midfield. They'll say he stepped out at the 49-yard line, gain of 3. Devin Boykin in coverage that time.
Kessie, you can just, as we're watching this game right now on this drive, you can feel the rhythm of the offense. We haven't seen that out of Alabama offensively yet today, but the great catch by Ryan Williams may be that spark that Alabama needs offensively.
Ryan Williams, a sophomore from Mobile. Remember, still only 18 years of age. Was 17 last year. Was dazzling. Has had a number of drop balls this year. That time hung onto one and got slammed. 2nd down and 7 from the 49-yard line. Motion to the left. Hand off, and Jam Miller getting a call. And he
goes to try to chase him down and point.
That was Riley, and he has no gain that time. Riley, the redshirt freshman from Alabama. Dominique Ratcliffe on the stop.
Yeah, and Ratcliffe was the 3 technique to the backside of this run play and absolutely destroyed the blocking, chases it down. The backside on the offensive line just simply has to cut that off, and that's a positive play for Alabama.
Now Jim Miller is in the backfield. 3rd and 7. Alabama 1 for 4 on 3rd down. 7 on the defensive front. We'll see how many they bring for Indiana. Waiting in the gun. There's the snap. They rush 4, drop 7. Simpson now going to run it. Tucks 50. Got to get to the 44. Got it. Broke the tackle. Nearly broke the second. Fumbled the ball. Indiana jumps on it. Who got it? Hoosiers say they have it. And they do.
Wow. Fumble in the video game and a fumble in the real life game.
Knocked the ball from him. And Indiana comes up with the turnover.
Football gods work in mysterious ways.
Indiana was showing pressure. 7 in the box. 4 defenders back, but they
Alabama got the fumble in the video game. Indiana gets the football in the real game.
For Ty Simpson. And I'm not sure that Ty Simpson got any body part down other than his foot and his hand before that ball was dislodged. I think this absolutely is going to be Indiana football.
Aiden Fisher, the linebacker, nearly raked it from him. Couldn't get it, but then he was hit by Pons. Ball came loose. And then the Hoosiers jumped on it, and we know game of turnovers in these big games. Big one there.
Indiana doesn't lose.
That's right.
When they win the turnover takeaway.
Turnover, Alabama. Fumble. Ty Simpson.
On 4th and 1, set up great field position. Now this turnover has Indiana their 42-yard line. It's a run. Himby up the middle over the 45 to the 46-yard line. We crossed 3 minutes to go in the first half with the Hoosiers up 10-0.
And by the way, D'Angelo Pons had 2 massive hits on that drive. The first one was on Ryan Williams on the skinny post. Williams was able to hang on to it, and the second one was on the quarterback. Pons is 5'9", but he absolutely brings the metal when he hits somebody.
Pound for pound among the toughest on that defense. 2nd down and 6 for the Hoosiers at the 46. Play fake, Himby. Mendoza's going to run. It was an RPO, and he takes it up to the 49-yard line. Was that a last-minute pullback by Mendoza?
I think it was, and Indiana runs really the modern-day triple option a lot of times. So they have the option to give it to the running back, in this case inside, and then Mendoza can pull it if he doesn't like that read, and when he gets out on the edge, he can also throw.
I know, right? How crazy is that?
Options, but that isn't exactly.
I wish I could control it, Andre.
In the 2-minute timeout, we're keeping our eye on Ty Simpson as well after he got crunched and knocked down. That's not an independent doctor checking.
I didn't plan on it.
Alabama staffers walking with him over to the bench area, taking a look at him as he got hit, and the turnover was forced, and now Indiana has it with a 10-0 Indiana lead over Alabama. 2 minutes to
His
go in the first
mobility is
half.
Jesse,
dangerous.
we'll see if Fitzy can get over there and get a closer look at Ty Simpson, but the medical staff
Sneaky fast.
did the dreaded hand under the shoulder pads, kind of at the rib
I bet
cage,
you
which
runs
is
a
where he took
4.7.
that blow and popped up that football.
Yeah, he's trying to make a play, and you know, as former quarterback, he had a lot of green grass to run, and instead of just gaining the yards he needed, he wanted a few extra, and it was that second effort. And I think Aiden Fisher also, that first rake attempt, kind of turned his body a little bit, maybe opened up that cage to Pons.
And how about DeAngelo Pons on that drive? Wow. DeAngelo Pons is an undersized kind of shutdown corner that plays a significant, vital role on the backside for Indiana.
How about the high school team he played on in Florida? He went to Chaminade Madonna High School in Hollywood, Florida. Jeremiah Smith, the outstanding Ohio State receiver, was his teammate. Pons flew under the radar, ends up at James Madison, which we know is a great story. Kurt Signetti led them to great heights, and then so many of the JMU guys came to Indiana. You know, we think of Fernando Mendoza coming from Cal and some other, D1 high power forward transfers that came in, but they brought in a lot of their own people and had already turned the page last year, even though it was a disappointing end in round one.
And you think about how Kurt Signetti did things. He was never a high school coach. He went right to college, kind of refined what he believes in, and then he gets the opportunity to go from James Madison to Indiana.
Yeah, I like watching hearing, listening to the radio play-by-play over the television broadcast.
For his program, offensively and defensively, and now add to it the transfer portal NIL era. You can flip your roster like overnight, and he said that really was the start for them. In December, when he got the job, they flipped the roster. They brought these James Madison guys with them. They brought essentially the entire coaching staff. You have these alpha players that know the system in every position room, and that's why they hit the ground running at Indiana.
Go downstairs to Ian Fitzsimmons.
I'm watching Alabama quarterback Mark Ty Simpson. He just shook off Jeff Allen, who was Nick Saban's second hire when he first came to Alabama. His first was Scott Cochran, his strength conditioning coach. The second was Doc Allen. And Ty Simpson just looked at him and said, no, I'm good. Now, he did look at his left side, Kelly, so that's one where to keep an eye on. When it comes to driving that football, often in the torque that you put on your torso when you drive.
I know, right? I didn't plan on it like that.
Coming through on the left
Just
side,
happened.
but it's the left side of Ty Simpson's rib cage that they were looking at, and then he just shook Doc Allen off going, nope, I'm good.
Appreciate that, Fitz. We come out of the timeout. Third down, a long three for Indiana, right near midfield. Stat Mendoza, pump fakes to the left, nothing. Now he's got to run, has blockers in front, finds the seam 50, gets the first, goes head first forward, over the Bama 45 to the 44-yard.
Mobility.
Clapping his hands, Fernando Mendoza gets
That's
seven.
what makes him so dangerous. He's accurate.
Remember last night when you
The
and I were
playmaker,
talking
he's got
about
mobility.
the NFL scouting report on Fernando Mendoza, and some people said, well, he doesn't really use his legs that well. He's not a dual threat guy. And I asked you, I said, how many guys in the NFL are dual threat guys? And you said maybe a half dozen. That's what Fernando Mendoza does right there. He keeps some plays alive that deserve to die, and in this case, it keeps the drive alive.
First down, give to Henry, stretching out left side, turns the corner 40 and dragged out of bounds at the 35, and everybody went slipping. Those last few yards before the sideline are still wet from all the rain. Justin Hill with the tackle, an 8-yard gain with 1:23 to go in the half. 10-0. Indiana the lead over Alabama, getting closer to field goal range, still looking for another score. Alabama will receive the second half kick, but Indiana's pitched the shutout thus far. 10-0 lead. 1:23 to go in the half. From the Bama 36 for the Hoosiers. Hand off to Himby, muddy jersey and all. Gets off the left hash to the 33-yard line, and that'll move the chains. First down, gain of 3.
That muddy uniform by Himby was that previous play where he got tackled on the sideline. It's a quagmire when you get about halfway from the numbers to the sideline. We haven't seen a lot of slipping anywhere else, but when a guy gets tackled on the sideline, he slides about 15 yards.
You can't even see the 1 on his back anymore. It barely hints out. We got a stoppage here with 58 seconds to go in the second half. Indiana has 1 timeout. Alabama has 2. Let's go downstairs to Ian.
When we were talking in our pre-show meeting, Kelly Stoffer, you gave me your great scouting report. Don't wear suit pants to this game. You're laughing at me, not with me. But to your point, outside the numbers, not the hash marks, but the numbers, it is absolutely saturated to the point where, yes, I have ruined a Jay Hilburn suit because I didn't listen to my quarterback.
Okay, who did you listen to? Let's get that out in the open.
My wife.
Yeah. And
there you go.
I love Kitty dearly, but she gave you some bad information. You're not on television.
Horrendous scouting report. But,
Yeah.
but to your point, running any dig route outside the numbers is a problem on this field right now. The middle of the field is absolutely outstanding. Outside the numbers, saturated.
So we talked about the field conditions and the possible rain during the game, which we haven't had a lot of. Alabama is not as balanced offensively as Indiana is. So if the field ever would become an issue, I think Alabama has to step up in this game.
I heard some booing there, Kelly. While you guys were chatting, they were reviewing. There was no timeout granted either way. They were reviewing the spot, and they've actually, it's not a first down. It is short of the first. They're spotting the Indiana football just past the Alabama 34-yard line. It's 3rd and inches right now. With a minute 20 to go in the second quarter, with Indiana leading Alabama 10-0. I want to see where the knee was. We're getting a look at the ESPN replay. Boy, that looked to me way better than the spot that they're giving.
Yeah, I think the spot was terrible.
Like a yard and a half short.
Exactly. Himby, the knee's down, but it isn't where the knee's down. It's where the ball is when the knee's down, and I think he had the line to gain by close to a yard.
So I think the spot is the original spot, not from looking. Now they're under the hood. You can hear the Indiana fans booing because they're seeing what we're seeing. So I think that this Big 12 officiating crew, Kevin Marr is our referee. He's got the headset on.
Yeah, it's a simulation, Anthony. I got the radio play-by-play on the real
I
game.
wish the people listening to us could see the offended, exasperated look that Curt Cignetti. I would not want to be one of his children and see that when I walked into the house a little bit late for curfew.
Or his players, because to a man, they say he saves his words for important. If you don't hear from him, it's because he's saving for that moment. And when you hear from him, you better listen. And many times,
After further review, the ball carrier reached the 33-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. It was like a yard and a half.
With all of the bells and whistles we have in terms of how we broadcast these games, that was a complete waste of time right there.
But not a waste of time to hear from Ian Fitzsimmons.
Boys, when Curt Cignetti is awesome, the head coach of Indiana. When I tell you that when I asked him, hey, your players really don't think that you give them a lot of compliments. And he said to me, Kelly, you'll appreciate this as a former quarterback. You know where I'm going with this. If you do something right, you know you did it right. So why do I have to compliment you? If you do it wrong, that's when you're going to hear from me.
First down and 10, minute 20 to go. Himby the call, stretches to the left, grabbed by the ankle and knocked down at the 27-yard line by Bray Hubbard, who yanked him down after a gain of 5. 1:07 to go.
Mark and Ian, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but don't you think that keeping Indiana out of the end zone right now is almost essential for Alabama going forward?
Well, they came back from 17-0 in round 1. They don't want to be down 17-0 here. Kalen Black, the running back, is in. Snap to Mendoza, dancing in the pocket, checks it down. Black's got it at the 20, turns to the 15-yard line of first down, and down to the 14. They'll give him the 15-yard line with a minute to go, a gain of 11. Clock stops momentarily to reset the chains. Now they restart the clock. 56. pass. 55 seconds to go in the half. From the 15, snap Mendoza. Throws sideline caught. Nowakowski, the tight end, and gets out.
Hey, what's up, Gerald?
Inside the 10.
How's your New Year, buddy?
Has a high percentage of disguised looks.
Who you got in this game, Indiana or Alabama?
Means that the number of safeties on the back end changes from pre-snap to post-snap. And there are a lot of NFL people that wanted to see how Fernando Mendoza would handle that today against Alabama defensively. Let me tell you, he's handling it like a surgeon so far.
Second down and 5 from the Bama 10. 50 seconds to go in the half. Snap, handoff, Black going to the left, upended and dropped at the 5-yard line. That was the line to make. I think we're going to get first and goal here to John Lee with the tackle and indeed a 5-yard gain. First and goal.
Coming down to about
Simpson doesn't look good right now.
Timeout, so obviously everything is on the table for Indiana play calling offensively.
Indiana breaks the huddle. Ball
If they go up
spotted,
17-0, I don't know if they can recover. Alabama.
Offset to the right. Snap, handoff, Black pushing up the yard markers to the 2, to the 1, and drop there. 4-yard gain by Black to the 1-yard line with 18 seconds to go in the half, and Indiana's going to use that final timeout.
And Alabama's defense, 10 plays into this drive, that's only covered 57 yards, are absolutely spent, not winning the line of scrimmage whatsoever.
Oh, wow, you're in enemy territory.
So no timeouts remaining.
You're surrounded by Alabama fans.
Liberally used their timeouts earlier in the game, so that takes away some of the field to use here with 23 seconds to go in the half.
Well, and you can get up and clock it. You're on the inside, really, the 1
That's
yard
like
line.
me with Raiders fans.
So
I live in
you can still
California.
run it between the tackles,
Nothing
which
but
I would
Raiders fans
expect to
around me.
happen right now with Indiana. And if you don't get the ball in the end zone,
Get up quick.
you get up
got an
quick
extra
and
down to work with.
just spike the ball, and you have another down to work with.
Indeed. 10-0. Indiana leading Alabama. 23 seconds to go. First half. Bama famously down 17-0 in the second quarter on the road at Oklahoma in round 1. But so far, Indiana has pitched the shutout. Alabama went for it on 4th and 1.
Oh, you know the Wolverines will be back in it next year.
They went for it, got
They're going to get some 5-star blue chip recruits.
and then also
You know they're going to reload.
on a fumble by Tyson.
Then they got that sophomore quarterback now. He was a freshman last year. He's going to be better.
It wasn't a very good play call on the 4th down, go for it. And then your quarterback runs and coughs it up after converting. So you lose that opportunity. Where could that drive have ended up?
Williams is going off in this one.
21 seconds to go.
It's his third touchdown in the second half.
Throws back in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Omar Cooper Jr. hadn't been targeted today. The second
Mendoza's got another touchdown pass.
for Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner.
The hardest decision for Fernando Mendoza on that play was which open receiver was he going to throw it to. Charlie Becker was crossing from left to right. Omar Cooper Jr. was crossing from right to left. Both of them had completely
Yeah, I'm a Chiefs fan living in California. Then you got to worry about 49ers fans too.
Into the line of scrimmage.
Omar Cooper Jr. getting cooped here at the Rose Bowl. Extra point is good. Remember, it was Cooper who made that catch. The back line of the end zone at Penn State to keep the unbeaten season alive. He also left the Big Ten championship game with a leg injury and was able to rehab it. That's one of the benefits. There hadn't been a lot of benefits for these teams that have to bye. That was a definitive benefit for Omar Cooper to get that extra 9-10 days of rest coming into the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And both of these teams obviously got healthier, so that is a benefit. But I think
What's up, Joe?
head coaches would rather turn right around and play again.
Yeah, Indiana's pretty well-rounded, though. I remember a few years ago they had Kyle Schwarber. They were in the College World Series for baseball. They're always in the NCAA tournament. Now they got a really good football program.
Instead, the 3.5 weeks off by Indiana is a non-factor right now in terms of their efficiency and execution on both sides of the ball.
Indiana scoring with 17 seconds to go in the half, and the kickoff right to left will sail in for a touchback. 11 plays, 58 yards, taking up 2 minutes and 52 seconds on the clock, and it is 17-0 Indiana. Alabama will receive the second half kickoff coming up as we approach halftime here at the Rose Bowl.
And I
Happy New Year, bro.
The difference between behind 17-0 with Indiana and down 17 to Oklahoma is Indiana makes you earn it defensively. They don't give you a lot of explosive plays, and they don't usually shoot themselves in the foot. So it's uphill in the second half for Alabama, no question.
Ty Simpson takes a knee to run out the rest of the time of the first half. Fernando
17-0
10 of 12
Indiana.
passing, 93 yards, 2 touchdown
Shut him
passes.
out.
And the Alabama Crimson Tide held to just 93 first half yards. It is Indiana 17, Alabama nothing, and that's the half of it from Pasadena. Now we turn it over to Nick DeLuca in the studio with the halftime report.
Thanks, Mark. Nick DeLuca back here in our All-State studio at the half of the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential. It's been all Indiana through the first 30, 17-0 after the end of a pair of quarters. Teams coming off the bye, 0-6. We've talked about it all day in 2 years of the CFP, but Indiana handling it just fine in
Good to meet you
the
too,
first
Gerald.
half. Coming up
Yeah,
on
I
the
make
College
video
Football Live
content,
halftime report, we'll take a look back at the
NFL
first 30 in
content, draft
Pasadena and look
content.
forward to tonight's All-State Sugar Bowl between number 3 Georgia and number 6 Ole Miss. You're listening to the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
It's your last chance to get Disney Plus, Hulu, and the ESPN app for one incredible price.
Yeah, Dayton, go Chiefs, man. Hopefully we can rebound off this Mahomes injury.
Epic bold matchups, the College Football Playoff, and NFL.
We gotta protect him though, man.
Get it all for $29.99 a month.
He can't be our leading rush in the
Disney
game.
Plus, Hulu, ESPNBundle.com for details. Ad-supported plan auto renews at regular price. Currently $35.99 a month. Subject to change unless canceled. Ends January 5th, 2026. Terms apply.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge.
We should get our good pick of offensive lineman in the first round. Francis Maguire, Spencer Fano, Kalen Proctor, Lamo from Utah. I know Utah's got a couple really good offensive linemen.
As you are, crack open an ice cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings.
Yeah, I'm
of blood
hearing
glucose
Jeremiah
levels.
Love and
US Med
Kenyon
is an
Sadiq.
approved provider for Medicare and over
This Chiefs
500
team has
private
to protect
insurers.
Mahomes. That's the number one issue.
888-665-0696
He's getting sacked way too much, and then he's having to run out of the pocket
insurance and
when he
Medicare
got
benefits
injured.
check as easy as that's 888-665-0696.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted
You gotta
car.
trade Trent
Call
McDuffie.
1-800-294-0222.
You gotta trade
You'll
him to the
receive the maximum
Cowboys.
tax deduction, and we provide
Possibly
fast,
get a first
free
round
pickup.
pick
Call
for him. Then we can get a Jeremiah Love, we can get a
1-800-294-0222.
Kenyon
Donate your
Sadiq, someone
unwanted
like
or
that.
unused car.
But it's
Call
offensive linemen first.
1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
This is the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Nick DeLuca in our All-State studio, 17-0, number 1 Indiana at 13-0, leading number 9
It's Ty
Alabama.
Simpson, man. Their
Scoreboard
defense is
updates
playing
brought to you
all right.
by Venmo. Score more with the
Honestly,
college-branded
Simpson's playing
Venmo
like
debit
trash.
card, Venmo MasterCard issued
Guy's playing
by
like
Bancorp Bank. And
undrafted free
all
agent
Hoosiers
right
in
now.
the first half
Supposed to be a top
outgaining
10
the Tide
pick.
179 to 93. Let's bring in ESPN Radio's Matt Sims, host of College Game Day. Matt, seems like everyone coming off the bye is rusty, except Indiana. Hoosiers up by 17, thanks in part to a fourth down stop, setting up their first touchdown. What did you think of the decision to go for it and the play call from
Yeah,
Ryan
Buckner's
Grubb?
been missing those short ones.
Yeah, I think for just
I'd
the
like to
decision
keep him, though,
to go
honestly.
for it on 4th and 2 is just an awful decision, and just
You know he's
hey,
going to get
check
picked
the,
up by
the
another
temperature in
team.
the room, Alabama. it's an old school blood match, right? I mean, again, another two.
You got to get rid of Noah
opponents
Gray,
playing
Mike
against each
Dana,
other. The
Jawan
defense,
Taylor,
of course, had the advantage
Trey
early on
Trent
in the football
McDuffie.
game because it's easy to see ball, get ball, and do all that, right? So I really believe that Alabama just decided to shoot themselves in the foot with that decision. I thought the play call, too, was also very questionable.
When you look, Matt, at Indiana and what they've become and all the talk about how historic this
He does
run over
that.
the last couple of years has
One
been
thing
for
good
the
about
Hoosiers,
Simpson, he goes through his
what impressed you
progressions.
most about the way that they came in and
You
have
see him
handled
actually scan in the
Alabama in this
field.
first half?
But he does hold on to it way
It
too
starts,
long.
of course, with just coaching, the organization, being prepared, right, and the efficiency and execution, right, that Cignetti just continues to harp on to where, like, yes, it's a little bit of a joke when he gets interviewed because he mentions those things a lot, but clearly it is a huge focus of
Like
their football
Mendoza,
team
he's
because
like a one
defensively,
or two
they are
read
all over
quarterback.
what Alabama's
The good thing
doing.
about
When they
Simpson
drop
is
back
he
to
can
pass, they're doing a
actually
great job of
go
creating
through
some
about
pressure.
4
If they're not getting
progressions
pressure, they're doing
in a
great
quick
job
amount of time.
covering really well
He just
on the
holds
back
on
end.
to it a little too long.
On top of that, the offensive line play for Indiana has been phenomenal. They're running the football efficiently. They're going to continue to keep that balance of run and pass. And it is official. Fernando Mendoza is the best quarterback in college football, and he really is probably the first pick of the NFL draft because he is that dude.
Yeah, that dude in the first half, 10 and 12, 93 yards and a pair of touchdowns in the opening 30 for the Hoosiers. Matt talked about the rest versus the rust in the Orange Bowl at the half. A dominant day for Oregon's defense, 4 turnovers, just over 200 yards allowed. Was that more about Oregon or the Texas Tech layoff?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the two. I think Oregon, of course, like
I'm thinking the Rams might jump up in the top 5 and grab a quarterback, Matthew Stafford's replacement.
Played in that game, and
right now they're
also
picking
saw,
at
too,
12.
That when they flip the switch on defensively, they're a very scary unit and a very big and strong unit, especially in their front seven. And that was very apparent throughout the football game with Tuioti and of course, Uya Ungale off the edge. Both of those guys were absolutely dominant and physical. Botter getting involved with it too, and of course, I mean, you know, Kennedy, the young corner outside there, was absolutely phenomenal in this one too. So this defense really played
if you can
great.
get rid of it
and then
a little
the
bit
rust
quicker,
aspect for Texas Tech.
you see why he's a first-round
Justin
pick.
Palmer said this during the call today, where he said that Joe McGuire and the team, they decided
Decent
to
arm strength,
kind
good
of take it
accuracy,
easy
goes
as
through
far
his
as
progressions.
the physicality and practice.
Takes a
Unfortunately,
lot
I
of
believe
sacks,
that was the wrong choice to go. I know they had a veteran team and they believed in that experience to favor them, but a 23, 25-day layoff, I don't care how good and how physical the team you are, if you're not playing and practicing that way, it's hard to just turn it on in the greatest moment of your season. So I think for Texas Tech, way too many undisciplined errors in this game, too many penalties, the false starts, jumping off sides on a 4th and 2 on a punt, which obviously gave Oregon the football back and quickened the game for them. So Texas Tech, unfortunately, it's not about the opponent.
Was it
it's about the
Saban
person in the
that
mirror in this one.
Yeah, certainly
did
showed
Miami
up that rust
when he was
this
with
afternoon.
Miami for
Wanted
a
to
year or
ask you
something
about
like that?
Oregon's offense too, because the defense was
I
great,
never
but for a
forget
lot of
that.
that game, Texas Tech staying in it, we know their defense is really good. Do the Ducks need more out of Dante Moore in that offense?
You know, Dante Moore played extremely efficient, and unfortunately for him, he missed Kenyon Sadiq on the 1 4th and 2 where they lined up under center, had Kenyon Sadiq for a post for a touchdown. He gets tackled for a loss on that 4th down, and they don't convert it. Other than that, I thought Dante Moore played extremely well in this football game, made a lot of good decisions, did a good job of managing the game and not turning the football over. And really the big thing I would think going forward for Oregon is just like, can they call some plays, game plan specific, just more aggressive for their quarterback at times. I think they do trust, of course, his decision-making and his ability to throw accurately underneath, but it did seem like early on in that football game, high completion percentage, no doubt he's getting a lot of throws, but were the throws actually damaging to the defense? And I don't think that they were. So that might be something they have to kind of think about as they go against some of these tougher opponents here in the later rounds, is how do they get their quarterback and their offense some explosive pass plays to help alleviate their offensive line in their run game.
Talking with ESPN Radio's Matt Sims, host of College Game Day. Let's flip to the All-State Sugar Bowl tonight. Veteran QBs, Gunnar Stockton, Trinidad Chambliss, the headliners. Ole Miss, obviously without Lane Kiffin. Pete Golding getting his first real test as a head coach against a team that's been
With this
the
Indiana
class of college
defense, they
football over the
sacked
last few
Dante
years.
Moore
What's the key
6
tonight in
times.
that one? What has your attention?
From Oregon.
Yeah, well, let's start with just what you started with here today with us. The
They really
versus
take your
run.
first,
So
second read away.
How aggressive and how just
Then they
ready
got
to
really
go
good
is Georgia
defensive
in
line,
this football
too.
game just started. They have been at times a slow starting offensive team like Alabama. That could be a problem for them, especially with just the ability that Ole Miss offense has had to make big time plays and explosive plays. But I do want to kind of lean a little bit more towards having faith in Kirby Smart, like I had faith in Kurt Cignetti in this matchup as well too. With just they know how to manage their teams well. They are built on just playing fundamentally sound football, and of course, it all just revolves around having an awesome defense
it's a
and a
simulation.
strong front seven. So, despite the layoff, I do believe that Georgia will have a greater opportunity to play a little bit closer to what Indiana's doing here in the first half of this football game. And for Ole Miss, it's all about, we know you can score. Can you create any opportunities defensively to help your quarterback get a short field and take advantage of the sudden change moments?
ESPN Radio's Matt Sims, host of College Game Day. Matt, thanks so much for the time today. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you so much.
So Georgia tonight looking for that victory after losing off the bye last year. Gunnar Stockton has to prove today is a day for doing.
Yeah, I'm
Brought
also
to you by
doing the
Home
Georgia
Depot.
game
How doers
tonight, so
get
make sure you guys
more done.
subscribe
Coming up on
for
the
that one
College
right
Football
after
Live
this
halftime
game.
show, deeper dive
Georgia
into
game's coming
tonight's
up.
All-State Sugar Bowl, number 3 Georgia and number 6 Ole Miss. This is the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Next summer, the world's biggest tournament comes to America. But long before first kick, the real work happens at home, where families are gearing up for game day. From the locker room to the laundry room, Henkel's trusted brands are fueling performance, strengthening bonds, and celebrating every clean sheet, every bold style, every repaired cleat, and every unstoppable moment. Because the game may be played on the field, but it's won in the everyday. Winning starts at home with Henkel's family of brands, including Persil laundry detergent, Got To Be hair care products, Dial soap, and Loctite adhesives. Proud partners of U.S. Soccer.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear.
You should have seen it earlier. It was 10-0,
Our
the
equipment
exact
is the
same
latest
score, but
technology,
the opposite
and our
teams.
medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West
Then
Coast
Ryan
Men's
Williams
Health a
went
call
off.
today. Speak with
Had
our
like
clinic
3
manager.
touchdowns in the
Ask him any
second half.
question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, it's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
West Coast Men's Health is now offering testosterone replacement therapy. So when you're ready to feel more like yourself and put ED behind you, give us a call at 650-407-1167.
Hey, what's up, Tabitha?
That's
We got
650-407-1167.
an Indiana fan in the house. They're up 17-0.
Emoji moment from Sadie, who writes, I'm not crying, you're crying. This is what I said during my first appointment with my physician at Mochi, because I didn't have to convince him I needed a GLP-1. He understood, and I felt supported, not judged. I came for the weight loss and stayed for the empathy. Thanks, Sadie. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Sadie is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
Chumba Casino.
What's up, John?
Stop fun
Who you got,
straight to your
Alabama or
screen.
Indiana in this
Anytime,
game?
Anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Brian Murphy here for Provident Credit Union. And let's talk savings. If you want a smart way to grow your money short term, Provident Credit Union has you covered with Pick a Term certificates. Choose 3, 6, or 12-month terms and earn up to 3.40% annual percentage yield, a high dividend rate that can help you reach your goals faster. Newsweek named Provident one of America's best regional credit unions for 2025, so you know your money is in good hands. Whether it's unexpected expenses, a big purchase, or extra financial flexibility, Provident makes it easy to hit your short-term goals. Their financial coaches are on your team, helping you plan smart and stay ahead. So if you're ready to grow your savings, check out Provident Credit Union's Pick a Term certificates. Visit providentcu.org or your local branch to get started. Rate is effective November 15th, 2025. Minimum balance of $10,000. Early withdrawal penalties may apply. Federally insured by the NCUA. Provident Credit Union. Discover the best in retail and business banking right here in your community. Start your savings today.
To the College Football Playoff Quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Nick DeLuca in our All-State studio at the half. Indiana up 17-0 on Alabama. Let's go to ESPN college football analyst Matt Stinchcomb on the call for the All-State Sugar Bowl tonight in New Orleans with Taylor Zarzor and Cole Kublik. Veteran QBs, Matt, Gunnar Stockton and Trinidad Chambliss, how important is that experience
317,
in that
serving
position
leather, baby.
in a playoff setting?
There's no substitute for experience. So I do think that is among the most important elements outside of skill set and system and all the things that you can actually control. Experience is something that you can't. It just has to happen. Gunnar Stockton obviously has that, has more of it at this level. Has it even, in this venue, in this game from a season ago, albeit an abbreviated time last year as a starter at the FBS level. And Trinidad Chambliss, who's played a lot of football, but just not
What's
up
up,
here,
Jake?
certainly not on stage at these stakes.
No, we love the
So there
green
might
over
be
here,
an
man.
element in there. Obviously, Chambliss needs to play better. He needs to play better late
We
in the
roll
game.
the green up.
Than he
Break
did
it
last
down,
time
smoke
out,
it up.
when he was in Athens, Georgia. That was really the difference. Was the fourth quarter and a couple of off-target throws that otherwise Chambliss played really remarkably, but just a couple incompletions that came in handy. And in that game, it was a hold-serve kind of a game. Every time you got the ball, you had to score. They didn't. 17-point fourth quarter, and next thing you know, Georgia's able to win it. So I do think that there's an element where experience is an advantage. I just don't know if there's enough of it for one side versus the other where it's that material.
Matt, you mentioned the first matchup between these two teams, and so much obviously is different now in round two, starting with no Lane Kiffin and Pete Golding taking over in a change at head coach. This is Pete's first real test. Obviously, you get the win over Tulane last week, but now he's playing a conference opponent. This is a team that's been the class of college football over the last number of years. What has your attention? What's the key tonight for Pete Golding and Ole Miss to hang in and potentially pull off the upset?
Well, I do think that when you get into a...
What's up, Lane? Yeah, I have PS5, bro.
You get into some...
I actually got to play somebody else in Madden. I
that is
forgot
Georgia's
last
football
night.
game. They are more than comfortable in that way, in that setting.
But I got
In fact, I think
NCAA and I got Madden.
they
I also
seek
got
to
NBA
kinda cultivate that
2K6.
environment, because it feels as if that's an advantage for them. I feel certain that they're more than happy to try to race out to a lead, but it's not necessarily, I think, for Ole Miss.
I get all of these games at Christmas because they're half off. Don't ever pay $70 for these games. They're the same exact game, just with different players.
I think a pivotal element in this football game.
Nothing ever
shown more
changes
than
about the
anything else
game.
is that they can actually endure slower starts. They didn't really have one versus Ole Miss in the first time out, though, and I think that's an important distinction. This is a team that can score, and because of that, I don't know that you can afford to, kind of ease out of the gate, if you will, from Georgia's perspective. So that is an advantage that I'm sure Ole Miss would like to create. They just weren't capable of seizing on the first go-round. So to me, more than anything else, just the tempo of the game, not the play calling or how fast you're running your offense, but from a scoring pressure standpoint. I think that's far more important from Ole Miss's prospects than it is for Georgia's.
That is ESPN college football analyst Matt Stinchcomb on the call for The Allstate Sugar Bowl in New Orleans tonight, 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Coming up on the College Football Live Halftime Report, Bama, no stranger to comebacks, will need another one to keep their season alive. Number 1 Indiana, a half away from the CFP semis. This is the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The college football playoff isn't over. Not yet. That epic run, that wild dream, not over till the clock hits 0. Till the stadium shakes. Till the wild things are let loose. Till the trophy is lifted and the confetti falls. This is the national championship. When it's over, you'll feel it. This is the wild world of college football. The CFP National Championship, Monday, January 19th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Rich Eisen here. Hiring for your small business can feel like a full-time job, but LinkedIn Jobs AI Assistant takes the heavy lifting out of it. It filters applicants based on the criteria you set and suggests 25 great fit candidates daily, so you can invite them to apply and keep things moving. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Mom and Dad, that's enough screen time for today.
I literally just saved us more money by finding 2 subscriptions we forgot about with Navy Federal Credit Union's mobile app.
Yeah, and I just protected our credit from cringe fraudsters with their security tech.
Don't you want to spend some time on social media?
Will social media help us manifest your college tuition?
Get the best banking ever with one of America's top-rated digital banking experiences, Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Visit NavyFederal.org for more information.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on September 24th, 2016, when Tulsa found themselves down 31-0 to Fresno State with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Tulsa fought back to tie the game at 41. And then won 48-41 in double overtime.
ServPro. Like it never even happened.
Most people in radio commercials talk really fast. But we made this one for RV owners. Progressive knows they like the slower pace of RV life. Like this commercial. And they know Progressive will protect their RV at a fair price with discounts. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations. This is the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Nick DeLuca in our All-State studios. We now pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Happy holidays from all of us at the sports leader. KNBR and KNBR-FM San Francisco, a Cumulus Media station.
17-0 Hoosiers after the first 30. Bama with some work to do. Indiana a half away from the CFP semis. Back to Pasadena with our team. Mark Kestisher, Kelly Stauffer, and Ian Fitzsimmons. Guys?
Nick, appreciate it. Halftime, Kelly, dominated by Indiana, 179 yards to 93, and on the scoreboard, 17-0. Took advantage of the turnover on that last touchdown drive for Indiana, and then the 4th-and-1 call at their own 34 that Alabama turned it over on downs. Indiana cashed in as well.
And by and large, that's the difference in this game, I would say, at this point in time. And we talked about it in the first half. Indiana doesn't.
Yeah, I know it's a simulation
so right now they're
on
plus
NCAA
2,
26.
theoretically, and I think that's the
I got the simulation going on, and I got the real game going on, play-by-play.
Being down 17 and against Oklahoma being down 17 is the fact that Indiana just doesn't beat themselves. And Oklahoma did in that comeback from Alabama a few days ago.
Well, Alabama's going to receive the kick, and we'll get to Ian Fitzsimmons' conversation with Kalen DeBoer after the kick. But adjustment-wise,
hey, what's up,
Alabama's going to get the ball back on offense here.
Well, I think Ian's going to talk about this, but I would like to get Ty Simpson on the move more. I think he's at his best outside the pocket, at least enough to make the defense know that he's capable of doing that. And I think the big plays typically have come outside the pocket for Alabama this year in the throw game. And in the first half, if you think about that, it was Ty Simpson moving when it wasn't designed and then rolling when it was designed and making good throws. So get Ty Simpson outside the pocket, and then the defense is just going to have to turn it loose and take their chances because they're probably going to have to come up with at least one big play themselves.
It's the Rose Bowl, so you get the jet flyover before the start of the second half.
Incredible.
Little stealth bomber coming across from left to right. Some fireworks shot off as well, and now Indiana's going to kick off to start the second half, left to right, sailing toward the end zone and into the end zone for a touchback. And now Ian Fitzsimmons, what did Kalen DeBoer, the Alabama head coach, tell you?
Well, the big thing is Alabama's starting quarterback Ty Simpson. Their star quarterback got rocked right before the end of the first half. It's his left side, left rib area. And when I asked the head coach, Kalen DeBoer, for the Alabama Crimson Tide, what's going on with your quarterback? He said simply he was treated, but he's good to go. He's willing to go. Now, watching him warm up, Kelly, I watched. He winced a couple of times, but he's out there on the field right now.
Here we go, and Simpson ready in the gun. First and 10 from the 25-yard line. Snap, it's going to be a quick screen pass. Williams has it. Nowhere to go, though. Grabbed and dropped for a loss by Devin Boynton, who sniffed out the screen.
There you go, second and long already for Simpson.
Defended those screens really well in the first half, and Alabama kind of got away from it. The reason the screen game is so important for Alabama is it's a supplement to the run game. The run game has been lacking, and the run fits aren't really there, but the rhythm in the screen game has been really good for Alabama this season. They need to have that be successful for them in this half.
We're going to go with Kevin Riley now in the backfield on 2nd and 12. He's going to motion out to the left. Snap, Simpson now puts the pass. It's batted down at the line. Tried to set up a middle screen. And Mario Landino from his defensive tackle spot got a hand on it and batted it away.
And a good adjustment for Alabama starting the second half to
What's
get
up,
to the
Gerald?
screen game. But bad execution. That was going to be a tight end screen with Cuevas coming back inside on that tight end screen behind that offensive line. But it's the quarterback's responsibility to find a path to get the ball to the screener, and Simpson was unsuccessful that time.
Well, we said how important this first drive of the second half is for Alabama. They're already 3rd down and 12 from the 23. In the gun, Simpson takes the snap, drops back 3 yards, clean pocket, fires to Cuevas, tight end has it 25, tries to get around the defender, can't, stays on his feet for a moment, and is finally dropped at the 27-yard line. They only pick up 5 and it's 4th down.
Great defense once again by Indiana. We talked about it on our spotting boards. We have this green color on all of the areas that a defense is in the top
Clowns
5
make
in the
$50
country.
an hour, bro.
Basically every defensive category, that's Indiana defensively, and they're so disciplined, Kesty. That's why they defended those 2 out of 3 plays were screen plays, and Indiana was all over both of them.
Blake down the punt, getting some pressure, gets off the kick, high spiraling kick, driving back the returner, caught at the 20 and driven back. Jonathan Brady as the special teams gunners got downfield in a hurry and dropped him at the 21-yard line, a 42-yard punt, 2 yards lost by the return team. Lozier Brooks that time, special teams with the tackle.
And Kesty, I'm going to go back and sew a button on what Ian Fitzsimmons was talking about with Ty Simpson being treated at halftime. We saw him get blasted by D'Angelo Pons in the left side of his ribs. We saw it live. It was brutal. And then he was wincing when he got up. So being treated for that typically would mean that you got some type of medication into your rib cage that would dull the pain a little bit. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but my experience says that's probably exactly what happened.
See if Indiana takes takes advantage. They're going to run it, string it out to the left. Himby turns the corner at the 20 and got to about the 25-yard line before being exited on that left sideline. A gain of 4. Justin Jefferson on the tackle. The run by Roman Himby just underway here in the third.
And the play calling
Yes,
distribution for
simulation.
Indiana in that first half, they threw the ball 12 times. They ran it twice
All
as
right
many
on,
times,
Joe.
24, and that's quintessential Indiana football.
Yeah, I got a beer right
offensively
here.
under Kurt Cignetti. Be the toughest
About to
team
throw a
on the
DiGiorno
field,
in the oven.
and we start by running the ball right down Main Street.
Second down at 6 from the 25-yard line. Shotgun snap, give Himby, finds a slight crease left side, gets over the 27 to the 28-yard line. It'll bring up third down and 3. Is there any weakness on this Alabama team? They're so good on all sides of the ball.
On the Alabama team, I think you meant Indiana team, but I don't think really there is, to be honest with you. They don't beat themselves, and they're so complimentary. They run the football well, they're balanced, so they throw it well. Their
Still
quarterback makes
17-0
great decisions,
Indiana.
and their defense takes the ball away and pressures the football and tackles
Appreciate
for
that
loss and
gift, too.
sacks all the time.
I missed it.
Third and 3 at the design QB run. Mendoza trying to find a crease. Finds it 30. First down over the 35-yard line. On the QB draw, Deontay Lawson finally took him down, but the Heisman Trophy winner gets 8 yards.
When I was taking notes and watching Fernando Mendoza leading up to this game, I wrote sneaky down beside the use of his legs. They
Said
don't
that
call
earlier,
design
sneaky.
runs for the quarterback Mendoza very
Sneaky
much.
fast.
Typically, it's the improv variety that hurts the defense, but that was a design quarterback draw that was effective.
First down and 10 from the 36. Hand off Kalon Black off the left side 35 and twists and turns to the 40, just over the 40-yard line. Gains 5 down to Ian Fitzsimmons.
Indiana head coach Kurt Cignetti told me his message to the team going into halftime, and I'm going to clean this up as well as I possibly can, guys. It's 0-0. Now, when I say 0-0, put a few words in between them, you get the message.
And we just got to look on our ESPN cameras. He has that.
Yeah, no shit, Steve. It's a video game, bro.
Second down and 5. Play fake. Mendoza under pressure, rolling to his right. Now he's going to run. 40-45. First down 50. Angles lost the ball, but it goes out of bounds. So it'll be Mendoza out to the plus 47-yard line. Damani Jackson swatted the ball away, but fortunate for the Hoosiers, it went out of bounds, gain of 12.
This offense by Kalen DeBoer, even though he's not the play caller, or excuse me, Kurt Cignetti, he's not the play caller, Mike Shanahan is. But
Appreciate
it's
that, Steve.
tailored to what Fernando Mendoza does, but it starts really from the neck up. It's all about the decision making. That wasn't a design run by the quarterback. The decision, the right decision, had him running the football right there for a positive play.
First down over the 50. They swing it out to the left side. Caught by Cooper. Has a blocker. Now inside the numbers. Grabbed by the ankle and dragged down at the 41-yard line of Alabama. 6-yard gain on the pass.
The timing and efficiency and how quickly that Fernando Mendoza gets the ball out, Kesty, puts so much pressure on the opposing defense, because where are you going to pressure this team? I'm not sure what you hang your hat on if you're defending this Indiana offense right now.
Second down and 4 for the Hoosiers. At the Bama 41-yard line, they'll go 2 receivers to the wide right side. Surratt to the left. High snap. Mendoza hands it off. This is Black dancing out to the right. Gets into the second level and knocked down over the 35 to the 33-yard line of Bama.
Based on what Indiana
Bama is in trouble right now.
Forces the defense to kind of
They
pick
got
their
hold in
poison.
their field goal.
Do you add numbers to the box, and then you're sliced and diced with the run-pass option for Fernando Mendoza? If you play coverage, then they run it in the tackle box just like they did on that play right there.
You used the word clinical earlier.
Absolutely.
That's
clinical,
a drive.
surgical,
But they
both
have
of those
right now.
things.
Second down play, and as a handoff come to the left side, Himby jumps over one defender and is tackled at the 32-yard line for a 1-yard gain. We're going under 9 minutes to go, third quarter, as the Hoosiers have the ball at the Bama 32-yard line. Second down coming up.
And Kesty, you rarely see a negative play offensively that gets them behind the sticks. And that's another source of
Indiana's
pressure
defense
for
too
an
good,
opposing
Waro.
defense. They've gotten Mendoza to
They
the
gave
ground a few
Dante more
times
problems,
through
too.
pressure. But in terms of running the ball, rarely do you see an Indiana running back tackled for a loss.
Outstanding offensive line dominating here. 2nd and 8, plenty of time. Dancing. Mendoza's going to dart and run for it. 30 to the 25, tricked up. He lands knee just short of the
Another
first
down
of
with
the
his
game.
leg.
At the 24-yard line of Bama, Mendoza with 8 yards. It'll be 3rd and 1.
And I know Kane Womack was aware of the ability for Mendoza to use his legs, but what he was not really hanging his game plan on was needing to defend a mobile quarterback, and that's really what we've seen, particularly on this drive.
Extra offensive lineman in here. Mendoza has 28 yards running on this drive. 3rd down and 1. Empty backfield. Mendoza the snap, looking left. Fires end zone. He's got Surratt who makes the catch. Touchdown, Indiana. The second connection today between the
It's a route. That could be the dagger right there. The way Simpson's playing.
touchdown reception for
Surratt's supposed to be a 2nd, 3rd round pick too.
Indiana.
3 touchdowns for Mendoza.
Pick your poison thought that I had with the defense. You add someone to the box, which means now you have to become one-on-one outside with either Omar Cooper, Elijah Surratt, or Charlie Becker. That time it was Surratt outside, and they're fearing the back shoulder throw that Surratt and Mendoza are so good with. Instead, Surratt goes over the top, and Mendoza just drops it into the bucket.
Radicic, the extra point. Alabama went 3 and out on its first series of the second half, and now they are facing the Tide. A 24-0 deficit. The 3rd touchdown pass for Fernando Mendoza. 24-0. Hoosiers lead the Tide with 7:46 to go, 3rd quarter. You're listening to the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Why do you make the move? You go to the backup over Ty Simpson, who's hurt. Got like a left rib injury.
It's like running the perfect
Does
play.
Alabama go to the backup quarterback?
Players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
LinkedIn gets B2B marketing and knows that every win is derived from a well-orchestrated play. With LinkedIn ads, every ad gets served to the MVPs you need. LinkedIn has grown to a network of over 1 billion professionals that you can reach based on job title, industry, and more. Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/campaign. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. Only on LinkedIn ads.
Every dealer today.
With kickoff at 4:25 Eastern on ESPN Radio. This is the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game. Presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
24-0 Indiana just scored its first possession of the second half. They lead the Crimson Tide in this 1-9 matchup, 7:46 to go, 3rd quarter. Mark Hestisher, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons, our entire ESPN Radio crew. This middle game of the College Football Playoff triple header on ESPN Radio. Oregon shut out Texas earlier today, 23-0. Ole Miss and Georgia coming up at the All-State Sugar Bowl following us. And Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman winner, who is the first Heisman winner in the college football playoff since Bryce Young, Alabama, 2021. And Kelly, he is off to a fantastic start here in this quarterfinal game. 12 for 14, 3 touchdown passes.
And Kesty, as Alabama's about ready to get this ball back, I'm not so sure that Ty Simpson isn't shut down. I was watching him throw on the sidelines. He turned to one of the staff members. If I could read lips, he said it's not good. He walked away, kind of unbuckling things, and then another staff member patted him on the back. So, Fitzy, you certainly will follow up on this, but I'm not so sure Ty Simpson is coming back into this game.
And this dates back to Simpson running and fumbling after he got hit by D'Angelo Pons as Indiana's kickoff sails from right to left into the end zone and in the back for a touchback with 7:46 to go. Keelan Russell it appears, or is that Austin Mack, number 10? One of the backups. It's going to be Mack, looks like, coming in. But we got a timeout here to bring the drama a little higher as Ty Simpson just kind of tossed his helmet away. Camera caught him on the sideline.
Yeah,
7:46 to go, third quarter.
The
Timeout.
Semper is on the bench with an injury.
24-0, Indiana with the lead. This is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
All right, Mom and Dad, that's enough screen time for today.
I literally just saved us more money by finding 2 subscriptions we forgot about with Navy Federal Credit Union's mobile app.
Yeah, and I just protected our credit from cringe fraudsters with their security tech.
Don't you want to spend some time on social media?
Will social media help us manifest your college tuition?
Get the best banking ever with one of America's top-rated digital banking experiences, Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Visit NavyFederal.org for more information.
Talk about stepping up. It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
Listening to the College Football Playoff Quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Big development here in Pasadena. First of all, top-ranked Indiana 24-0 over Alabama. 7:46 to go, third quarter. Mark Kestisher, Kelly Stauffer, and Ian Fitzsimmons. Ty Simpson's day. He threw that helmet. It looks like it's over.
He's got a towel on his head right now, Mark, and he is done for the day. This is a coach's decision. Alabama's star
Like a left
quarterback,
rib
Ty
injury.
Simpson, is done after getting a rock into his left rib by Indiana's
Take
star
a shot of
corner.
Carrotol, kid.
One of the best cover corners
Shots
in all
back in
college
that
football,
game.
D'Angelo Ponds. So now Austin Mack comes in, and Kelly, we were watching Austin Mack in pregame warm-ups. He is every bit of 6'5", about 235 pounds. He transferred from Washington with Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubbs. Third year in the system. He's now the starting quarterback, the Alabama Crimson Tide. What do you see? Yeah, and what we saw on the field was impressive before the game. He's a beautiful-looking quarterback. He's a tall guy. As now we see on the air on our TV coverage that Ty Simpson had his hands in it, or his head in his hands,
Very emotional.
crying, very emotional, and I can understand why, to get to this point and not be able to play.
Man,
But
you'd have to
we'll see
carry
what
me
Austin
off the
Mack
field.
brings to the table. He certainly looks the part.
Yep, big dude, 6'6", 235. Jam Miller off his left hip. Mack playing in his first game in 5.5 weeks. Takes the snap, screens it out low. Miller's got it, running left sideline and crunched out of bounds at about the 25-yard line, 26 for a gain of 1.
Austin Mack, regardless of how ready he is for this moment, he faces an Indiana defense that just simply does not give you an easy path to the end zone. They're not really a bend but don't break, but they play a lot of zone on the back end, a lot of fire zones to get pressure on the quarterback. And Alabama has been facing almost 10 yards every time they're on third down. That's not a way to navigate down the field.
Second and 9, snap to Mack, looking, exits the pocket, running to the right, still looking to throw, pump's going to run, 30, 35, angles out of bounds at the 39-yard line into that quagmire. He didn't slip. Fisher ushered him out of bounds, gain of 13.
And a good decision, because
Hey, what's up,
nothing was
Patrick?
open down the field against that zone coverage I just referred to.
Hope you had a
Indiana
great
was
New
only
Year, buddy.
reading 4 after Austin Mack. And I would expect sooner rather than later that Brian Haynes, the defensive play caller for Indiana, are going to try to get in the
Yeah,
face of this
steak,
young
bro.
quarterback.
6:39, clock moving, third quarter, first down and 10. Alabama, 39-yard line. The backup quarterback, Mack, takes the snap.
What you're watching is not real.
Hill runs right into the teeth of the Indiana
But what you're listening to is.
knocked down after a gain of 2. Isaiah Jones, Aiden Fisher on the tackle.
The low-hanging fruit coming into this game was Alabama is one-dimensional offensively, and that's not going to fly. And Indiana is really well-balanced offensively. That's why they're the number 1 team in the country, and that's really the way this game is playing out. Alabama has 0 run game.
Second down and 8, right hash mark 41. 2 receivers tightly on the left side of the line. Snap to Mack. Mack drops 3 steps down the right sideline. Has Jeremy Bernard over the shoulder catch, 35-30, and out of bounds. Beautiful throw by the backup Mack, and out of bounds.
There we go, got something going now.
And it was one of those fire zones.
What's up, John?
Ndukwe was actually the defender outside, and he rolled up in the flat. He's trying to chase Bernard and loses track of him. And then as the quarterback, you have to drive it in that window over top of the underneath defender and have enough on it before that safety can get over the top. And that's exactly what Austin Mack did. That was a tremendous read and throw.
34-yard play, the longest of the day so far for Alabama. And before the next snap, Mack didn't like what he saw. The clock was winding down and calls for an Alabama timeout with 5:13 to go in the third. And Austin Mack off the bench, delivering a little spark.
Yeah, it's
for
college.
Alabama
It's NCAA 2-6.
Indiana 24, Crimson Tide nothing, and with 5:13 to go in the third quarter, this is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Rich Eisen here. LinkedIn Jobs is stepping things up with their new AI assistant so you can feel confident you're finding top talent. Get this. Employees hired through LinkedIn are 30% more likely to stick around
Yeah,
for at
real
least a
life,
year
it's
compared to
24/0.
those hired through the leading competitor. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on October 2nd, 1993, when the University of California faced a 30-0 halftime deficit to Oregon. Cal went on a remarkable 42-11 run in the second half to capture a 42-41 victory. One of the largest comebacks in college football history.
ServPro. Like it never even happened. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check if they're going for it on 4th down before going to the concession stand.
Yeah, give me 3 hot dogs, 2 jumbo touchdown, baby! What?
Hey, bud, you want cheese with those? Yeah, checking first is smart. No. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate. Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential
crap, don't
on
tell me
ESPN
you're
Radio and the ESPN app.
Top-ranked Indiana. No team in the very short sample size of the 12-team college football playoff that's had a bye has actually won in the quarterfinal round. As Texas Tech got knocked out earlier today. Ohio State lost last night, so 0-6 in the very small sample size. But Indiana off the bye, 24-0 over Alabama, 5:13 to go third quarter. Mark Estisher, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons, and Austin Mack, redshirt sophomore.
24-0 right now, John. Indiana's winning. Alabama's got the ball inside Indiana territory, though.
And we talked about at the break that Alabama has to find a way to get like 10 to 14 points almost immediately to give them the opportunity to get back in this game. And we'll see if Austin Mack can manufacture that, because the offense in the first half was essentially completely dormant for Alabama.
First down and 10. Kevin Riley in the backfield. Alabama moving left to right, and they're at the Hoosier 25-yard line. Two receivers left. Josh Cuevas tight end motions right. Snap Mack going to step up, looking downfield, finds Cuevas, makes the catch right on the sideline, inside the 10-yard line, near the 9. Lewis Moore was in coverage but couldn't get there.
And this was going to be a kind of a trick play, trying to get the tight end that he actually threw the ball to eventually Cuevas, but it was going to be on that quick screen, and then Cuevas goes up the sideline. It was covered initially. Mack's movement uncovered the big tight end Cuevas.
Mack is 3 for 3 since replacing Ty Simpson. First and goal at the 9. Ryan Williams motions to the left. Mack has the snap, looking end zone, has protection, now being flushed out to the left. He's going to run at the 10, gets hit at the 7, and falls forward to the 5-yard line for a 4-yard gain.
Good decision by Austin Mack, and he's been buttoned up, Kesty, on this drive, and you always wonder, I hated being the backup quarterback.
Yeah, they are. Now they got a backup in now. Maybe he can spark something.
From the first snap you have offensively, but it's that alarm bell that goes off when you're the backup. But Mack is up to the task so far. We'll see if Alabama can finish in the end zone.
Yeah, he has not hit the snooze button. He's come out
Absolutely
here
not.
with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, this reminds me of Super Bowl 59, huh? Eagles versus Chiefs.
Waiting in the gun, takes the snap. Pressure coming from the edge. Throws out a screen, diving back to get it is Hill. Did he hang on? Yeah, he did, and his knee was down.
That's when I first heard Bell to ask. When the Chiefs blew out, or the Eagles blew out the Chiefs. Bell to ask.
Pressure look that time by bringing a lot of, they call them mugging the linebackers up in those A-gaps, but they actually rallied out of that position and played more of a zone coverage. And I thought there was an opportunity for Mack to get the ball immediately to Josh Cuevas right at the goal line, but he was a little late seeing it.
Goes without saying, 2 plays here, right? Third to set up fourth and goal, down 24.
That's a good point.
Third and goal at the 10-yard line after that loss. Austin Mack from Loomis, California, in relief of Ty Simpson. From the Indiana 10-yard line, 2 receivers each way. Daniel Hill motioning from the right side to the left side of the quarterback. Takes the snap, pressure coming, pass is incomplete, no flag, trying to find Lazier Brooks, who got crunched by Lewis Moore as he tried to make the reception a little bit behind him at the 2-yard line, and the field goal unit is coming out onto the field.
And I think it's a matter of just trying to take the top off the basket, so to speak, and trying to get some points on the board. I don't know that I agree with it. Austin Mack was under pressure that time. He couldn't throw the ball up the field because that's where Lewis Moore was coming from, and it was more of a back shoulder type of opportunity, but Mack did not throw the right ball to his intended receiver.
This will be a 28-yard field goal attempt. Placement is down, kick is on its way, and Connor Talty has Alabama on the board. Alabama's at 338 now consecutive games with a score. That was on the line, but they get the points here, down 24-3, and with 2:44 to go, third quarter. Downstairs we go to Ian Fitzsimmons.
Well, I just got a text message from one head coach who actually has already won a college football playoff game today, guys, and that's Dan Lanning, head coach at Oregon, and it simply said, wow, Indiana looks good. That guy should know, right? Because Indiana went to Autzen and beat Dan Lanning and his football team with Tosh Lupoy and Will Stein, who are both going on to head coaching jobs. Tosh Lupoy to his alma mater at Cal. Will Stein now going to...
What's up, Cutthroat?
But for Dan Lanning
How you doing, man?
give that kind of praise to any team and a physical football team. I mean, Kelly, you heard Nick Saban talk about it for a week and a half, 2 weeks now. This is a very physical Indiana football team. It's not a basketball school anymore. To get the logo, this is a team that will come in and line up and knock the ever-loving snot out of you. Ask Oregon, ask Ohio State, and right now, ask Alabama.
And it's such a good point because I think people get caught up in the historical narrative.
715 losses.
Exactly. And they think that that's the Indiana, but that's not your Indiana that we're seeing now. They're physical, they're disciplined, complimentary football, and Nick Saban told a great story on game day this morning. He said he's with all his golfing buddies down in Tuscaloosa. They're like, we ought to beat the crap out of Indiana. They're a basketball school. He's like, hold on a second. You haven't been paying attention. And I think that's what we're getting from a lot of people. Indiana is the real deal because they still play football old-fashioned, which is we're going to be physical on the line of scrimmage, and then the other things we're not going to beat ourselves in.
Yeah. Kelly and Mark, remember this also. Kurt Cignetti, head coach at Indiana, was on Nick Saban's staff for 4 years at Alabama. And when Nick Saban's alma mater, Kent State, came open, the president of Kent State calls Nick Saban and says, is there anybody on your staff that you would recommend to be the head coach of your alma mater? Saban went to that staff, and it was a who's who at that time. And one guy raised his hand saying, yeah, I'll go coach the Golden Flashes. And it was Kurt Cignetti. And Saban looks at him and goes, you know, this is one of the worst jobs in college football. He goes, yeah, well aware, bring it on. That's the attitude of the head coach of Indiana right now.
Kurt Cignetti, as Fitz pointed out, was one of Saban's original hires, 2007 to 11. In fact, was an assistant coach with Alabama right here in this building when they beat Texas in the 2010 Rose Bowl to complete the 2009 season. And with Ryan Day's loss last night with Ohio State losing to Miami, Kurt Cignetti, now minimum 20 games, head coach FBS, is now the winningest coach active in the FBS. 43-6. He's 24-2 as a head coach of Indiana. Mind you, the 3 seasons before he arrived in Bloomington, the Hoosiers football team went 9-27. You want to talk about a quick turnaround. Alabama got the field goal. They will kick it off left to right, touchback into the end zone. And now we saw a little bit of spark from the backup quarterback, Austin Mack. And now that Alabama defense, which in the second half, since the Florida State loss back in week 1, second half, they've held teams to 9.2. They've already given up 7. Not only they got to hold them, they got to come up with some turnovers.
Yeah, and Kane Womack talks about the fact that their defense is really trained to take the football away. They talk about them individually being takers of the football. They attack the football. Well, they need the football to come out right now on this drive, and Indiana isn't about that usually.
First down, Kalen Black, and he's swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage and wrestled down at the 25-yard line for no gain. Good start for Alabama's defensive front as the clock ticks. Under 2.5 minutes to go in the third. LT Overton just back this week got the tackle there.
Indiana offensively have only given the ball away 8 times the entire season. They put the ball on the ground one time in terms of a fumble, and then the 7 interceptions. They just simply don't beat themselves very often.
Second down and 10. Hoosiers at the 25. 3 receivers left. Tight end Nowakowski comes across the formation to the right. Hand off Black. He's kicked hard, knocked down at the 27-yard line for a 2-yard gain. It's a tough defensive puzzle to solve against Mendoza because even if you throw the blitz at him, his numbers are so good.
And that's a good word for it. And Mendoza used that word during the week talking about Alabama, that it's kind of solving the puzzle post-snap because you always get a different look from Alabama defensively in that disguise, and you have to solve the riddle, so to speak. And I think that's the superpower of Fernando Mendoza is I think he loves the opportunity to solve those puzzles.
3rd and 8. Mendoza pressure coming, picked up, throws, caught. Nowakowski breaks the tackle, 35, gets over the 40, down the left sideline, 50, and finally his momentum falls out of bounds inside the 45-yard line. Xavier Brown couldn't get him down, and it's a nice pass and catch to the tight end, Riley Nowakowski, for 31 yards.
And Nowakowski is in kind of a H-back position.
Yeah, you're
to
right,
the
Mark.
left side. You have 2 receivers outside of him.
And Indiana's moving the football right now. They're threatening to score again.
Ian Fitzsimmons mentioned NFL scouts talking about quick eyes. And what they're talking about is quickly getting through your progressions on time and getting the ball out. That's what it looks like. Nowakowski was the 3rd look. Mendoza gets the ball out on time, and that's where you get yards after the catch.
First down run, Black right up the middle, and a saving tackle that time by Bray Hubbard, the safety. Black was 1 step away from breaking that one, taken down at the 27 and down to Ian Fitzsimmons. Alabama quarterback
quarterback Ty Simpson just went to the Alabama locker room with their lead doctor, Dr. Jeff Allen, guys. He is officially done for the day.
Appreciate that. Tough news for Alabama and for Ty Simpson as the final seconds of the third quarter are going to tick off. Son of a coach, the redshirt junior, left rib issues, unable to continue, and Indiana will take this 21-point lead to the fourth quarter with a trip to the Peach Bowl and the semifinals on the line.
That's
15 minutes
sure
to go.
hurt
Indiana
his draft
24
stock.
and Alabama 3. This is the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's
The
Cheers.
guy came out of the game with a rib
and
injury.
tears. Oh.
Most
Okay,
guys
so
play
like
through that.
everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal, whatever. It's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football. It's a pepper thing.
Back in 60.
Are you really eating during the commercial break?
You bet. These factor meals keep my head in the game.
Oh, yeah? So what do you got there?
This year's filet mignon and creamy Parmesan shrimp. With Factor, I get chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals delivered weekly. Perfect for pros like us.
Oh, so you're a pro now, too?
Box says Factor, eat like a pro. So, yeah.
I think it's time for you to share a bite like a pro.
No. Get your own at factormeals.com. Factor, eat like a pro.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
All right, Mom and Dad, that's enough screen time for today.
I literally just saved us more money by finding 2 subscriptions we forgot about with Navy Federal Credit Union's mobile app.
Yeah, and I just protected our credit from cringe fraudsters with their security tech.
Don't you want to spend some time on social media?
Will social media help us manifest your college tuition?
Get the best banking ever with one of America's top-rated digital banking experiences, Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Visit NavyFederal.org for more information.
You're listening to the College Football Playoff Quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Headed to the fourth quarter in Pasadena, Indiana 24, Alabama 3. We had rain that when it hit Southern California, it's important they get the rain. They had the incredibly difficult wildfires just days after we left this building. We called the Rose Bowl last year in Pasadena. So the good news is those rains that have been happening over the last few weeks puts them out of that wildfire area. But what a day this has turned into. I mean, it's not blue skies, but there's plenty of blue up above us.
It's hard to have a bad day at the Rose Bowl. There's no question.
Alabama's the only one having a bad day right now. Indiana with it at the Alabama 28. It'll be a handoff and a run up to the 25-yard line, 2 yards gain.
I guess that Indiana fan outside before the game, he said, I think it even surprised God that we're at the Rose Bowl because he caused it to rain, and it never rains in Southern California.
It's an amazing turnaround for this program. Now only the second losingest program in college football history. Second down and 8 from the Bama 25-yard line. Kalen Black gets the call again. Gets through the middle 20-yard line to the 15. Powers to the 10 and races into the end zone for a touchdown. 25-yard touchdown run for Kalen Black. And the party is on in Pasadena for the Indiana Hoosiers.
There were moments, Kesty and Ian, in that first half where Alabama had a couple of plays. The fourth down that they couldn't convert to move the chains. And then your quarterback, Ty Simpson, getting whacked and fumbling the football. And you kind of think that that's the margin of error you have against Indiana that's so complementary on both sides of the ball. They don't give you a lot of openings, and whatever there was to begin this game, it might be closed now.
Niko Radicic is on for the extra point. And a 25-yard run by Kalon Black, the fifth-year senior. Another James Madison transfer who came over with Curt Cignetti, has 99 yards on the ground. Indiana 31, Alabama 3. We're early in the fourth quarter. You're listening to the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
LinkedIn gets B2B marketing and knows that every win is derived from a well-orchestrated play. With LinkedIn ads, every ad gets served to the MVPs you need. LinkedIn has grown to a network of over 1 billion professionals that you can reach based on job title, industry, and more. Start converting your B2B audience into high-quality leads today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/campaign. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. Only on LinkedIn ads.
Set this up over again.
Next summer, the world's biggest tournament comes to America. But long before first kick, the real work happens at home, where families are gearing up for game day. From the locker room to the laundry room, Henkel's trusted brands are fueling performance, strengthening bonds, and celebrating every clean sheet. Every bold style, every repaired cleat, and every unstoppable moment. Because the game may be played on the field, but it's won in the everyday. Winning starts at home with Henkel's family of brands, including Persil laundry detergent, Got2b hair care products, Dial soap, and Loctite adhesives. Proud partners of U.S. Soccer.
Zone. AutoZone.
This is the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
31-3, number one, unbeaten Indiana leading Alabama. Mark Kestisher, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons, our entire ESPN Radio crew from the beautiful Rose Bowl where the weather gods helped out, no rain. Kelly, I asked you when we were walking the field earlier today, it's hard to tell the difference of reds because we have crimson red in the Indiana uniform, crimson red in the Alabama uniform. So all the fans wearing red today. Now I can finally see, because the seats are kind of a sun-beaten red, a number of Alabama fans making their way to the exit here.
Yeah, headed back to the hotel early to catch the next game on the ESPN family of networks, no doubt.
Indeed.
But you're right. I mean, the way that Indiana handled themselves, one of the big
who should have been in instead of Alabama?
We talked about during the week is kind of the psychological factor, the expectations that are now.
Who do you think should have got in?
Indiana, the number one team in the country, and not Alabama, even though they're across the field from you. And then, oh, by the way, you haven't played for 3.5 weeks. And that hasn't gone well for teams in the college football playoff since they expanded to 12. Indiana checked all of those boxes and a lot more here in the Rose Bowl so far.
Indiana kicks it off, a booming kickoff that'll be received in the end zone and will be taken out on a touchback. Well, this Indiana team, not only how quickly Curt Cignetti and his staff turned it around, but you look at the offensive numbers where they were ranked in the 115th percentile on both sides and now have turned it into top 10, top 2. So it's not
They wanted the top quarterbacks in this thing. That's how it works.
How much they've turned it around on both sides of the football. It's just so impressive.
And you can do that if you know what you're doing in the transfer portal era that we live in. And Curt Cignetti did that. He flipped the roster, brought really the schematics on both sides of the ball in that he had perfected at lower levels, and it's been a seamless transition for the most part.
Austin Mack, second series, backup quarterback, nothing doing on first down, now to roll out under pressure. He's got nothing. He's out of the tackle box and throws it past the line of scrimmage out of bounds. Good coverage downfield. Isaiah Jones, that time pressuring the quarterback.
If you look behind the curtain where Indiana is concerned, Kesty, it's on one hand pretty straightforward how they win games. They do the things that are important in being good at playing the game of football. They run the football and they defend the run. They're disciplined on both sides. They don't have a lot of self-inflicted wounds, so to speak, and they make offenses, as Alabama right now, earn and drive the long field most of the time.
2nd and 10, pressure. They get to the quarterback. Mikhail Kamara with the sack, taking down Austin Mack inside the 15. First sack of the afternoon for the Indiana defense.
So Indiana, that's their 40th sack this season. That's top 5 in the country. And then they funnel you to 3rd and behind the sticks. And so they only allowed offenses to convert at 8.
Alabama looks like a PE football team compared to Indiana.
That funnels down into the fact they only give up 11 points a game. And oh, by the way, our offense scores about 42.
10-yard loss, 3rd and 20 for Alabama. Snap to Mack, throws right sideline. The receiver cut into the middle of the field. Nobody was there. It was Isaiah Horton, the closest receiver, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, a lack of certainly communication. Isaiah Horton ran a dig route, which is an in cut, and the quarterback, Mack, threw a beautiful ball to an out route where nobody existed.
It is a testament to the depth of Indiana. You know, we haven't really had to talk about their pass rush has been effective. They lost Kellen Wyatt, defensive end, mid-season. Stephen Daly stepped in, and all he did was get 19 tackles for loss. Daly was injured, and without him here in this CFP. Down the punter from a 5-yard line, sends a spiraler that will hit the turf at the 40. Initially takes an Alabama bounce and now goes sideways and down at the Hoosier 36-yard line. And that brings us to a timeout after a 48-yard punt. Hoosier fans loving it here in Southern California with 13-17 to go. Indiana 31, Alabama 3. This is the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
It's your last chance to get Disney Plus, Hulu, and the ESPN app for one incredible price. With the ESPN app, you can watch some of football's biggest postseason games.
Grace, it's going to be tough.
Matchups, the college football playoff.
I can't see how they're going to be able to move the football against Indiana.
For $29.99 a month for 12 months. Visit Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN bundle.
Team can do nothing on offense.
Ad-supported plan auto renews at regular price. Currently $35.99
then
a month.
Mendoza's carving them up on defense.
Ends January 5th, 2026. Terms apply.
They can't stop him when he's running the football.
Is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible.
Like they're taking away his
options
on
Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Listening to the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented.
Indiana's going to win this game, you're right, but can anybody knock them off?
13-17 on the clock, fourth quarter, and the number
is there anybody that can beat them that's still out there?
Indiana Hoosiers trying to reach the CFP semifinals. Oregon's already etched into the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl a week from Friday here on ESPN Radio and also on ESPN Television. And we were just watching Austin Mack, the backup quarterback for Alabama, who took over for Ty Simpson. And I don't know if he took like a salt capsule or if you're having some cramping issues or whatever, but true freshman Keelan Russell, we might see him. Keelan Russell, we may see him before long as well. Oh, it's been a real tough afternoon for
okay, Eugene, yeah. Defensively, they're just so good. They gave Dante more problems.
In the SEC
Mendoza
game, lost that. the college football playoff.
Looking like Andrew Luck out there.
That loss against them. They were an at-large team at number 9. And quite frankly, our entire crew was together, right? We were watching that game against Oklahoma about 9-10 days ago in our hotel room. And it looked like they were giving up for dead and made a stirring comeback to reach the quarterfinals. They're getting beaten today by the number 1 team in the land. Here's a handoff going nowhere.
This Indiana team, it gave Dante Moore problems. 6 sacks in that game. I think Dante Moore only got sacked like 13, 14 times all year.
Washington and now at Alabama has performed so well against top 10 teams, winning 8 of their first 10. Boy, has Indiana had their number so far today. Clock moving, 12:45 to go. Second down and 12. Snap Mendoza, give Hemby. He gets by the first defender and is finally dropped by Jefferson at the 39-yard line for 4 yards, and it's third down.
And there's no question Indiana obviously is going to bleed the clock as much as they possibly can, which actually is...
If Oregon's offensive line gives Dante more time,
typically win the time of possession.
He can be dangerous.
They typically win the turnover takeaway.
But Indiana's just so hard to block.
The football game, and that's what Kurt Cignetti perfected at lower levels.
And they beat up Simpson
run to
today.
Bloomington and hit the ground running.
Third down and 8, Indiana. Snap, they move the pocket to the right, sprinting that way, throwing sideline, downfield, caught at the 35-yard line, Omar Cooper, and rolled out of bounds near the 25-yard line by Deshaun Jones.
So if you're a defense trying to defend all of the moving parts for Indiana, where do you start? You have a quarterback that makes great decisions. In this case, they move Fernando Mendoza outside the pocket to the right, and Omar Cooper is running a corner route to that side. You have a go route inside of him. You have a receiver out to the flat, and then the quarterback just makes a good decision, and really an easy decision against an open receiver versus man-to-man coverage.
38-yard pickup up to the Alabama 23-yard line. Snap, handoff, Hemby goes to the right side, able to push forward into the red zone, tackled at about the 18-yard line by Nakai Hill-Green after gaining 5 yards, and that clock will move under 11 minutes to play.
And you always need, Kesty, someone to stir the drink. And in football, it's offensively, it's the quarterback position, obviously. You don't win championships, you don't win games like this at the Rose Bowl if you don't have that guy pulling the trigger. And Fernando Mendoza obviously won the Heisman, but this offense is tailor-made for him, and he runs it in a methodical way.
Snap, give to Hemby, gets off the right side of the 10 and busts into the end zone, touchdown. Another Indiana score, 18-yard run by Roman Hemby, and the route is on, 37-3, Indiana.
Football is always and has been and always will be.
Graves, you might want to put a hold on that comeback.
Schematically, there have been some offenses that tried to de-emphasize the need to have that line of scrimmage locked down, but ultimately the pendulum swings back to the team that controls the line of scrimmage, controls the football game, and on both sides of the ball, that's been Indiana all day in this Rose Bowl.
Niko Radicic, extra point is up and good, and all the while is Indiana number 1 and unbeaten, looking to get to the semifinals. They have not won a bowl game. Remember the Copper Bowl? 1991, Copper Bowl, the last time Indiana won a bowl game. 7-game bowl losing streak is going to end, and more importantly, they're going to get to the semifinals. 10:33 to go, timeout from Pasadena. All Hoosiers, Indiana 38, Alabama 3. This is the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on September 24th, 2016, when Tulsa found themselves down 31-0 to Fresno State with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Tulsa fought back to tie the game at 41. And then won 48-41 in double overtime.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
Rich Eisen here. Hiring for your small business can feel like a full-time job, but LinkedIn Jobs AI Assistant takes the heavy lifting out of it. It filters applicants based on the criteria you set and suggests 25 great fit candidates daily, so you can invite them to apply and keep things moving. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football. It's a pepper thing.
This is the College Football Playoff Quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Indiana 38, Alabama 3 with 10:33 to go fourth quarter at the Rose Bowl, the 112th Rose Bowl game. We were here, Mark Hestisher, Kelly Stauffer, Ian Fitzsimmons, our entire ESPN Radio crew, as the sun is actually shining on the other side of the field. You can see the San Gabriel Mountains now illuminated by some sunshine. It was supposed to rain for like 7 straight days, but we've had this beautiful dry day today. Last year, Ohio State ran Oregon out here, and now Indiana put an even bigger walloping on Alabama, who takes the ensuing kickoff in the end zone for a touchback, and now the Crimson Tide will be back out on offense. But look, these are the questions, right? You heard a lot about a Big Ten competition. We know the Big Ten was top-heavy in the top 25, and how well would they fare against an SEC team? And Indiana has answered every question throughout the entire season, including a win in Oregon earlier this year. And Kelly, we're going to have a rematch when this thing is official about 10 and a half minutes from now. First down and 10, Alabama from the 25-yard line. Devin Riley in the backfield, waiting on a snap to Austin Mack, still in the game. He's going to pass, throws it up the seam. It is caught, and Isaiah Horton knee down 10 yards downfield at the 35-yard line. Let's go down to Ian Fitzsimmons.
Watching Indiana head coach Mark Kripsignetti, he's got his right hand on his right hip, and he looks angry as hell. And I say,
up 35.
I mean, right, you're 38-3 with 10 minutes to go at the Rose Bowl, and Kurt Signetti is.
Yeah, you're right. It's a simulation.
And that's why
I want to make it a good game on screen.
It doesn't matter. Every snap, every rep, everything matters. Every little thing, and that's why he's a great head coach. Yeah, you're checking every box with that guy, which is pretty amazing. He's kind of an old school coach. Well, he's not kind of. He is like an old school coach wrapped up in like modern day schematics to play this game well, and it's worked to really perfection in Bloomington thus far through 2 seasons and counting.
2nd and 4 after the 6-yard completion to Horton. Mack back to pass, has tie balls batted high in the air and nearly intercepted. Oh, dropped by Elijah Hardy, the linebacker. Tyreek Tucker got a hand on that one to knock it up in the air with 9:22 to go.
Coming into this game, fellas, you remember what Fernando Mendoza talked about when he was talking about his head coach. First of all, there's a lot of love there, and sometimes the
that would have been dope,
have
Mike.
a different relationship
I'd have
with
watched
their
that game.
quarterbacks than they do with others maybe on the roster. But Fernando Mendoza said that he doesn't spend a lot of time with us.
Attention, guys, this is not a real game,
when
man.
he walks into the room, you know that he's in
Attention.
command, and you need to set up straight and shut up. And he has that effect on his players.
Sorry, Kelly. Passed
The
out to the
Saquon
sideline.
is
Jeremy
38-3.
Bernard on the first down made the catch on the sideline. But you're right. It's important. The weight and gravity of his words, as few and far between as they are, weigh heavily for this team.
And getting his team ready after a 3.5-week layoff, how was that going to look? And how are
Yeah,
they
a
going
few
to
people
handle
have said
the
that.
new
I
stratosphere
think they
that
just
they're
wanted
playing in? Is
they wanted the quarterbacks.
team in
And
the country and the favorite and all those
you
things.
notice they
And he
got
said,
the
well, I
top
had to
3
rattle their
quarterbacks in the
cage a
draft
little
in
bit
this
as we're starting preparation for
playoff.
the Rose Bowl.
9 minutes to go. First down near midfield. Strain it out. It is caught by Hill out at the far side 50-yard line. Hill trying to push forward and finally pushed out by Devin Boykin. Daniel Hill gains one. Downstairs to Fitz.
All right, number one, Kelly, I want to know a story from any head coach that just really unloaded on you, because you were just talking about Curt Cignetti and Fernando Mendoza and that relationship. One, that's number. I really want to hear your best story. Number two, again, watching Cignetti, this dude doesn't have a pulse. I mean, I'm telling you guys, it is remarkable watching him on the sidelines with his players and his team. And remember, every team that's had a bye has lost until Indiana, right here, the Rose Bowl.
2nd and 9, and the pressure from Indiana takes down Mac the sack. Devin Boykin, 8 yards lost on the sack by the Indiana defense. They can do it all.
Yeah, in Indiana, we talked about they by and large play a high percentage of zone on the back end. So when they pressure, it's what they call the zone pressure or fire zone, which is kind of an oxymoron. You get pressure, but you're playing zone. Well, you're bringing people from unexpected places, and you're dropping people that are presenting the look as if they're coming, and that's exactly what Devin Boykin did right there.
We got a double reverse and a pitch back to Mack, who throws it out to Ryan Williams. Numbers left 40, out to the 50-yard line, gets through a block at the 40, jump cuts inside to the 35, and Alabama's got it down to the Indiana 32 on a little trickeration with 7:09 to go.
All the trickeration, and ultimately
It's
a
not?
screen to
What's going on right now, bro?
Williams sitting outside to the left. The handoff, the second handoff, the pitch back to Austin Mack, the quarterback, throws his screen to the left side. A lot of bells and whistles for an explosive play that have been really hard to find for Alabama offensively today.
Oh,
Alabama's
shit.
ready to go, and Indiana's going to take a timeout here. 6:49
Alabama's
to go.
kicking their ass.
35-point Hoosier lead, 38-3 over Alabama. And while they take time downstairs, we pause 10 seconds for station ID. You're listening to the College Football Playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Happy holidays from all of us at the sports leader. KNBR and KNBR-FM San Francisco, a Cumulus Media station.
Guys, I don't block anyone. If you wondered why I don't block people that say fake or tell people not to watch, because I don't fear you. So why should I block you? Feel free to say whatever you want.
30-point loss was in a bowl game. Late December 98 against Virginia Tech in the Music City Bowl in 1998. They lost to Arkansas 42-6 that year in 1998, the last time they trailed by 35 points. This was a 1 versus 9 matchup. Indiana, the number 1 team in the country. 38-3 lead, 6:49 to go. 1st and 10, Bama. Pass out to Ryan Williams, makes the catch on the right side, 35 to the 30, and forced out of bounds inside the 30 by Amari Farrell with 6:43 to go.
A couple of really nice screens on this drive, and Kesty, we talked about that being one of the keys. Alabama
No, this was actually last week, bro.
very well offensively.
I'm playing the last week's game.
Almost with no exception, but their run game has
It
been a
already
good
happened.
supplement to the lack of or their screen game to the lack of the run game, but they haven't run screens very well today at all.
2nd down and 3.
What's up, Rhino?
3 receivers to the wide left side of the field, 1 to the right. Shotgun step back, getting pressure, dumps it over the middle, dropped that time by Kevin Riley. There's a screen set up, a lot of pressure coming. Riley could not hang on. Elijah Hardy applying the most pressure on Austin Mack.
And if the running back can catch that screen, it's a walk into the end zone. 2 offensive linemen were out on one very small defender in comparison outside, and the running back probably walks in with that football.
3rd down and 3 for Alabama. They're at the Hoosier 25-yard line, down 35. Waiting in the gun is Mack, the backup quarterback. Ty Simpson left injured earlier in the second half. Snap, 4-man rush, quick pass out to the right side, caught by Hill, crunched by Hardy, and knocked out of bounds well shy of the first at the 26-yard line. And it will be fourth down, loss of one, and Kurt Cignetti, even though his team is up 35, continues to stalk up and down those sidelines. No sign of a smile. I don't think we're going to get one until there's triple zeros on the clock.
I don't think you're going to get one until he's holding the national championship trophy, if indeed that happens.
Fourth down and
I don't know. New England's got a good chance, bro. They're a really good football team.
Mack in the gun. Pressure from the left is hit. Mack, and they're going to drag him down. He lost the ball. Doesn't matter who recovered it, because that's going to give it to Indiana with 5:41 to go. Devin Boykin gets in there again, and the Indiana defense has kept Alabama out of the end zone.
And once again, the fire zone variety. It looks like pressure's going to come off to the right side. A defensive end actually drops into coverage and covers the tight end. And Devin Boykin comes from the backside of the quarterback and is ultimately the one that gets Austin Mack to the ground.
Mack eventually recovered, but it's a turnover on downs. And what a job by Devin Boykin, the NC State transfer, our defender of the game, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Maybe I should expand that to the entire Indiana defense.
Yeah, if you can't give it to the entire defense, give it to Devin Boykin. 8 tackles, 7 of them are solo. He has 2 sacks. I think that epitomizes what you see out of Indiana defensively.
Snap to Mendoza, different Mendoza. Brother Alberto Mendoza is in for the Heisman winner, Fernando. Kobe Martin gets the call here on a 4-yard run up to the 36-yard line. And Fernando Mendoza's afternoon is over. And what a day. 14 of 16, 192 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns for the Heisman winner.
Well, some of the adjectives that we talked about with surrounding Fernando Mendoza coming into this game was precision-like, elite accuracy, quick eyes, gets the ball out because he gets through his progressions so flawlessly. We saw all of that and more here today out of the Heisman Trophy winner.
Here's a run by Kobe Martin, and he gets almost to the 40-yard line. Mark Kestisher, Kelly Stauffer. Hey, Ian Fitzsimmons, we are getting ever closer to a rematch in the semifinals between this Indiana team and Oregon. And you know Dan Lanning wants that second opportunity with a chance to go to the championship.
Foaming at the mouth. That entire team, everyone. Bryce Betcher, you name it. Every Oregon Duck wants every bit and every part of the Indiana Hoosiers. My biggest question mark is to Kelly Stauffer. You watch Kurt Cignetti, head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers. And folks, again, forget the brand. This is a very physical and hard-nosed and talented and worthy of being the #1 team in the country. I'm going to pose my question right after this now.
3rd and 4. Alberto Mendoza going to run it. Trying to get
Yeah, somebody else said that.
Gets the first down and out of bounds.
Personally, I wouldn't mind Alabama or Notre Dame. It really didn't matter to me, but
So, Kelly, yes, sir, Coach Cignetti does not smile. I'm watching him right now. I mean, not even a smirk. What's it like being a quarterback when you have a coach that has that temperament? And no matter what you do, it better be right or it's your butt.
Yeah, I loved it, to be perfectly honest with you, that you know that that's the guy that you want to follow. I will tell you this, though. The asterisk is that isn't the relationship that the quarterback has with his head coach behind closed doors.
Alberto Mendoza going to run it, guys, up to the 45-yard line for 1 yard.
The quarterback, in this case Fernando Mendoza, knows that that's who his head coach is. And it sets the tone for the entire program. However, when QB1 is behind closed doors with his head coach or offensive play caller, it is a different relationship than that. And we get to see that a head coach, that side of him, or even a play caller, and sometimes they're the same guy, that the rest of the team doesn't get to see a lot. But they don't call us out usually publicly or in front of the team because we're the leaders on the team.
2nd and 9, and a run. Martin has a lead blocker offensive lineman out to the 49-yard line. Martin picks up 4. Xavier Mincy with the tackle, and the clock moves 2.5 minutes to go, approaching the 2-minute timeout.
Boys, I'll tell you this much. This is an Indiana team. Remember, this is Indiana that has beaten Oregon at Oregon. Big 10 title game at, to beat Ohio State and then just whipped Alabama's butt. This is, forget Indiana being a basketball school. This is a very hard-nosed, talented football team.
Indiana basketball hasn't won a championship since, I don't want to say it, 1987.
Great point.
Freshman year at Syracuse. Whoops. Here's a handoff to Martin, and he gets crunched right at the 50.
Guys, make sure you subscribe. We got Georgia Ole Miss coming up next, right after this game. We'll set the live stream up, coming right back in it, setting the simulation up. We got Georgia Ole Miss, the last playoff game of the night.
Indiana lost to Tennessee in 1988. Reggie Cobb had a late touchdown run for the Volunteers. They lost in 1990 to Auburn. And this will be the 5th time Indiana and Oregon are going to play all time. And, of course, we have talked about Indiana's 10-point win in Eugene, Oregon, back on October the 11th. And Oregon, since that loss, has not lost since. They've won 8 straight, including today's shutout of Texas Tech, 23-0. So the 5-seed Oregon, the 1-seed Indiana, as we continue to piece together the Final Four. One more game to come, Ole Miss and Georgia. But
something just tells me Dante Moore is going to play better in that game.
I lost track of dates. January 9th will be the second semifinal, and it will be Oregon and Indiana when it becomes official.
Well, let's chew on that rematch for a moment, because remember, you talked about it. Fitzy mentioned it. Indiana goes to Autzen Stadium, which is one of the most difficult venues in all of college football.
It's not good, man. Simpson did not play well. He actually went out of this game with a rib injury. I honestly think he quit.
They ran the football for 111 yards. They had 23 first downs, so that game control that we used to hear about from the committee, they controlled the game in so many ways. But this is where the game tipped in their favor, because I think it was a 13-10 game at halftime. Indiana was ahead, but Indiana was able to get pressure on QB1 for Oregon, Dante Moore. They sacked him 6 times.
Oh, what's the score, Keith?
Frustrated and flustered in that game and threw 2
Last time I checked, it was 38-3 Alabama.
So
Simpson was shredding.
in the rematch,
Simpson was 14 of 16, 180 yards, 3 touchdowns.
The second time, but I know what Fitz is saying about Dan Lanning. They are chomping at the bit to get another crack at
Simpson over Mendoza.
You saw it in the professional ranks. It's really hard to beat that team the second time, but in college, it's so rare to get a rematch. And it's also, wouldn't you say, easier when you're the losing team to fix the mistakes than the winning team, oftentimes.
Yeah, and just looking at that first game statistically, you can see some of the places that Oregon certainly has to make an adjustment. And I actually heard Dan Lanning talking about that before, earlier this week, about the things that you do differently. And he wasn't talking specifically about against Indiana, but certainly changes that you make. Nick Saban said that on game day this morning. You know, you going into a rematch like with a Georgia or an LSU and with Alabama in the title game, and you make adjustments, there's no question, but Surratt was massive in that game against Oregon. So how are you going to defend him? 8 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. So those are some of the things that Dan Lanning and staff are having to figure out currently.
Well, Indiana getting ready to punt out of this timeout. Is there a flag dropped on the near sideline? There was. The linesman dropped the flag. Don't know if someone was offside. They were. Ray Hubbard. Everything going Indiana's way. 2 minutes to go. First down. Hoosiers at the Alabama 45-yard line. And let's go downstairs to Ian Fitzsimmons.
I can tell you right now, having been embedded with the Oregon Ducks for 4 days during fall camp, Mark Kelly, they want nothing more than to go right back at the Indiana Hoosiers. This is going to be an epic, and I do mean epic, college football playoff semifinal. Right here on ESPN Radio.
And now Indiana can just run.
Guys, Indiana's got this one, 38-3. This one is over. I'm going to get Georgia Ole Miss set up. Make sure you guys subscribe. Join me for that one. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you.
All the way back to the East Coast to a lot of miles being racked up by the Oregon Ducks, but they are going to